at the end of the season. He will not sign another one. Chris Wilder saying that is frustrating. We thought he'd keep starting, but intriguingly Lundstrom, a mainstay of last season, and this drops down to the subs. So it will be a 3-5-2 formation. One question we're not sure of, which we'll know when the game kicks off, but it's definitely Aaron Ramsdale in goal, and then John Egan, Chris Basham and Ender Stevens at the back. We know that George Baldock will play right wing back. Will it be Lowe or Ben Osborne playing left wing back? The other will then slot into midfield with Berger and Ethan Ampady. Then Ryan Brewster and Ollie McBurney up front, along with Lundstrom. The rest of the bench is Michael Verrips, Billy Sharp, Ollie Burke, Oliver Norwood, David McGoldrick and Jack Robinson. Your thoughts, Jamal, on that team and that question that I put to you? Will it be Lowe at wing back and Osborne in midfield, or vice versa, I wonder?
Well, I think Osborne's been playing in that position a bit this season, and he's done really well. I think it was against Liverpool where I watched him, and I thought he was really exciting, bags of energy. He could get up and down, so I think Chris Wilder will be looking to utilise him in that area again. I think through the midfield he'll probably want to thicken it up, obviously with Sanderberg, Ethan Ampadu and Max Lowe in there. Obviously he's got a little bit of size and a little bit of presence in there, so I think he'll look to go down that route for me. But we'll see. Either way, I think Ben Osborne, whether he's playing inside or outside, bags and bags of energy, so that's what we'll be looking for from him.
Okay, I'm going to go the other way just to play devil's advocate. I'm going to say Lowe as naturally kind of the fullback as he came through, gets his old position back, give or take, as he comes back into the team, and Osborne as nominally a midfielder, who I agree has done a brilliant job. I wonder if he goes into his more familiar position, but regardless, they can play either way. Ampadu, of course, can play at the back as well, so there are plenty of defensive-minded players, at least, in this Sheffield team, up against a Manchester City side, Jamal, who make 3 changes to the team that drew 1-1 in their last Premier League game against West Ham. They have, of course, won in the Champions League since, but it's Ederson in goal, Kyle Walker, Ruben Diaz, Emerick Laporte and João Cancelo at the back, Kevin De Bruyne, Rodri and Bernardo Silva in midfield, and then Raheem Sterling and Riyad Mahrez both supporting Ferran Torres up front. The changes are Laporte, De Bruyne as skipper, by the way, and Torres coming in. Ilkay Gundogan, Eric Garcia, the young defender, dropped to the bench, and there's no Sergio Aguero, injured again and taken off at half time in that draw against West Ham, where of course Phil Foden came off the bench and scored the equaliser not long after. The rest of the bench is Scott Carson, John Stones, Nathan Ake back after injury, Alexander Zinchenko and the aforementioned Phil Foden. What do you make of that?
Every week Pep can put out a team and it's always a wow factor, isn't it? Obviously he's showing lots of frustration not having a natural striker there. Obviously Aguero's gone down again injured, Jesus is out injured, so trying to find those goals and that fluidity through the middle has been difficult for them this season, but they've got plenty of movement and plenty of threats going forward, so I think he's hoping that the players that are playing there, Mahrez and Sterling, who have got goals in them, and Ferran Torres today can help out. Obviously it's excellent that they've got Kevin De Bruyne back, because he'll offer plenty of service for them boys up there.
Now, De Bruyne and Sterling both did well in Europe in midweek. Sterling disappointing though, wasn't he, in particular, I felt, in the West Ham draw where he missed a one-on-one and looked a little bit off it. This balance of Champions League and Premier League, particularly given the late start to the season, all the issues of COVID and so on, it's not easy, is it?
No, absolutely not. Like everybody's spoken about the quick turnaround, and it's been difficult, none more so than the players. Obviously everybody's got to rest and recover and get going, and with the international breaks and the players being away on internationals, and then you got games on midweek and on a weekend, every game's a big game, so you need your big game players to step up, and there's no real time for resting and recovering. It's just back-to-back games, and it is difficult, but this is what makes the league so exciting, and we can see now that how things have changed, and you've got Everton up there, you've got Wolves up there, you've got all these different teams floating in and around it, and just makes it for a very interesting season.
The thoughts of Jamal Campbell-Rice, formerly of Sheffield United, Charlton and Jamaica. In a few moments' time we'll look ahead to the rest of the weekend action, take a little look back on last night's game, and talk more about our feature game this lunchtime as well. All coming right up on Premier League Live.
25,000 people worldwide will pull their running shoes on to hit the road for a virtual 5 or 10k at Run in the Dark. I'm Mark Pollock, and by joining us to Run in the Dark this November, you'll be supporting the Mark Pollock Trust and our charity partner Collaborative Cures, whose mission it is to cure paralysis in our lifetime. Register now at runinthedark.org and get your medal, your flashing armband, and your Run in the Dark virtual timing app. Thank you.
I was never good at spelling. I could read just fine, but I would be afraid if anybody asked me to do anything involving spelling. But since doing the course, all that has changed. I am braver. In fact, I feel braver than ever now. You know, you're never too old to learn. Never.
If reading, writing, maths or technology is holding you back, take the first step. Free phone 1-800-2020-65 or text LEARN to 550 to see how we can help. This free and confidential service is supported by your local ETB, Solis and Nala.
Create the Premier League atmosphere at home with Harvey Norman, the home of the big screen. Feel like you're on the pitch with our stunning range of 4K smart LED and OLED TVs from LG, starting from just $449. Plus, hear every kick, save, tackle, and decision with LG's best-in-class soundbars. Get TV ready for all the big games with Harvey Norman. Shop online today or safely in our spacious stores. Harvey Norman, home of the big screen.
Demanding a high performance from your team? You should be demanding the same from your tires. The Irish Tyre Industry Association is urging motorists to stay safe this winter and check the condition of your tyres. You could even be liable for a fine and 2 penalty points if found driving with tyres below the legal tread depth limit of 1.6 millimeters. ITIA expert technicians will carry out a free tyre safety check to ensure your tyres are safe and legal. Visit itia.ie to find your local expert.
As Ireland's homegrown insurer, FPD knows it's empowering when someone has your back. So switch your van insurance to us and get up to 75% no-claim discount. Visit fpd.ie to request a quote. FPD Insurance. Support. It's what we do. Terms, conditions and underwriting criteria apply. 75% no-claims discount is based on proof of 5 years no-claims discount and available to new commercial motor customers only. FPD Insurance Group Limited, trading as FPD Insurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Commercial motor insurance is underwritten by FPD Insurance PLC.
At Paddy Power, we know competition for the remote control can be fierce at the weekends. So in order to give the non-football loving occupants of your house something to do, here are some of our top suggestions. Go for a walk. Walk the dog. Go cycling. Cycle the dog. Recycle the dog. Just go! All very good options, we say. And that's not the only one. If one leg of your 4+ fold ACCA lets you down, get a free bet on all football leagues and markets. Paddy Power. Max free bet €10. Min odds 1 to 5 on each leg. Online exclusive. Excludes shop bets. T's and C's apply. 18+. Need help? Visit gamblingcare.ie.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Sheffield United against Manchester City from Bramall Lane. I'm your host, Russell Hargreaves, and alongside me is the former Charlton, Sheffield United and Jamaica winger, Jamal Campbell-Rice, and this is Premier League Live. Burnley, Chelsea and Liverpool, West Ham to come later on this evening after I'd featured opener here at Bramall Lane. But there was one game last night UK time to get match week 7 underway. It was Wolves and Crystal Palace. Here's how it panned out with Paul Mortimer and our commentator Toby Gillis.
Chiarte with the header away. Oh, and that's come out to Aid Nouri, who scored a debut goal. First time, low shot, left-footed from the corner of the 18-yard box, and Guaito is beaten.
As he shoots Dendoncker, who's coming to shut him down? The centre forward, Wilfried Zaha. They're outnumbering Palace, and their system is far superior at the moment, and it's allowing the Wolves players time and space.
Neto on the right, Jimenez in all sorts of space, as is Podence. Oh, it was Podence and Jimenez, 2 of them in the box against 1. Nathaniel Klein didn't know who to go to. He went to neither. Podence half volleys home. Wolves have doubled their advantage, and it's nothing less than they deserve.
Very, very good cross from Neto. Looks up and he just guides it in. The pace is on the ball for Podence. As long as he gets a good contact, that's what he's concentrating on. Ball's in the net.
We start well the game. We start strong. We start creating and balanced and playing really good.
To be fair to them and to give credit to them, they didn't make any mistakes. They defended stoutly, and although we were sort of beavering around in their penalty area, they stood firm and stopped us getting that clear-cut chance that would have given us a passage back into the game.
Roy Hodgson and Nuno Espirito Santo, the bosses of Crystal Palace and Wolves respectively, after Wolverhampton Wanderers took that 2-0, and Palace of course had Luka Milivojevic sent off late on as well. Jamal Campbell-Rice, that puts Wolves, admittedly having played one or two more than some of those around them, up to third. They really are on a decent run all of a sudden, aren't they, again?
Yeah, unbelievable. I think he's done a fantastic job with what he's doing with Wolves, obviously getting them promotion and what they've done since obviously getting it back into the Premier League, and they're a really scary side when they're on their day. They've got some fantastic players. The recruitment every year seems to be the right recruitment. People like Semedo, like getting him in from Barcelona. I mean, coups like that is fantastic. You've got Adama Traore who's being looted by everybody to move on to bigger and better things, and Jimenez keeps on scoring goals, and I just think they're a fantastic outfit, and he's done a fantastic job. And
you lose one or two star players like Diego Jota to Liverpool, and as you rightly say, they re-evolve, they bring in new faces and keep growing, which is very impressive. Palace are ninth, again having played one more than most of those around them. 10 points from 7 games, pretty good at home, not great away from home. Is it kind of what you'd expect, workmanlike but not dramatically inspiring from Roy Hodgson?
I think that's Crystal Palace every year, really. I think they're one of those sides that obviously consolidate their place in the Premier League every year, but you just never know what you're going to get from them. One week they can, like we saw earlier on at the beginning of the season against Manchester United, played unbelievable, played them off the park really. You got outstanding performances from Zaha and the midfielders, like with the endeavour that they show, but then the next week you just never know what you're going to get. There's no that consistency level, but I think Crystal Palace are a side that I don't think we can ever expect too much. Without being disrespectful to them, we can never expect too much from them. They're just one of those mainstays that always float in and around like the mid-table.
Okay, so let's look ahead then to the rest of today's action here on Premier League Live. Mentioned that Wolves are third. Of course, it's the Merseyside pair of Everton and Liverpool that still top the early table. The champions Liverpool up against West Ham at 5:30 UK with former Hammers striker David Connolly and with James Fielden as well. So a little bit from the Reds boss Jurgen Klopp discussing, I guess, some of the big news of the week, which is that their star defender Virgil van Dijk's knee reconstruction, that big surgery for the Dutchman, went well.
What I can tell you that after surgery, and it was successful, which is really good, the best news you could get, is that this time is always unpleasant. Everybody who had a surgery knows that. You don't wake up and everything is fine, so you feel still the surgery. So, and that's it. But he's good. He's good, as good as you can be, and that's it.
That, Jamal, is excellent news, clearly, but I suppose the big question moving forward will still be how Liverpool cope without him for so long, particularly with other injuries at the back as well.
Yeah, they're depleted to say the least at the back. I read an article from Jurgen Klopp this morning about Reece Williams coming through and how bright his future is. But there's no doubt, obviously, with Van Dijk out, Matip out, and then Fabinho going down in a week. It's really tough at the moment for him, and teams. It's brilliant for the other teams, for the opposition, because they'll be thinking that they can play on that. So it's whether Liverpool can cope, and I'll be interested to see whether those players can step up and replace Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, absolutely. You got young Reece Williams, he's just 19. Nico Williams, of course, coming through as well. There certainly are options. It's just whether or not, as you say, they're ready and they can get that job done to the standard that some of the very, very best finished players have so far. We'll talk about that game in more detail a little bit later on at half time. Before all of that, at 3, it's John Anderson and Gabby Agbonlahor, the former Aston Villa striker, guiding us through Burnley versus Chelsea. Burnley, slow start, maybe finding their feet, and Chelsea, decent in Europe, but a little bit hit and miss so far in the Premier League so far this campaign. Their boss is Frank Lampard, saying the players need time if they didn't get a proper pre-season.
When you're bringing in new players into the club, and it's a great thing to bring players with versatility in their game, and I love that, but you're also then in the early stage of the season trying to find the balance for the whole team, the thing that brings out the best in all the players. And I keep saying that, it must sound like a broken record, and it's not an excuse, but normally you have a month or 6 weeks and probably 2 weeks in America or the Far East to hone down these things. We actually are doing them in real time, so it's maybe normal that we've had to find different solutions to different games.
Frank Lampard there, and as we know, Jamal, Chelsea Chelsea have brought in some serious firepower and some huge new signings, haven't they, over this delayed off-season? Do you fully expect them to completely gel sooner rather than later, or not?
I hope so. I think obviously everybody knows that they had a couple of seasons there where they couldn't bring players in, and it was a little bit of a difficult time, and I'm delighted that he's able to bring in the players that he wants and obviously the quality that he's been able to bring in. And I do think when you're rebuilding a new side, 7 players that he's brought in, I think it is always difficult to gel, and people almost expect it to happen straight away, and it just does not work like that. I think you have to give these players time to adapt to the Premier League and stuff, because the majority of them have all come from outside of the Premier League, so I think you have to get up to speed. I look at players like Kai Havertz, who he's quoted to be like the next best thing, and all the rest of it. The Germans over there, they love him and think really highly of him, and I think players like that, luxury players like that, you have to give time to bed in and get used to the pace of the game and all the rest of it. So yeah, I just think they just need time, but I do think with the quality they got, they will pull it together sooner rather than later.
Yeah, Chelsea 10th at the moment in the early table. We shall see if that improves sooner rather than later, up against a Burnley side who are 18th. And by the way, if Sheffield United were to get a win against Man City today, their first of the league season, they'd climb above the Clarets and above West Brom for a few hours at least, and could find themselves out of the bottom 3 for a bit, which would be a huge shot in the arm. By the way, if Manchester City win, as I think a lot of people expect, they would probably go up to 7th in the table, level with Spurs in 6th, which would be perhaps a more normal reflection of Pep Guardiola's side. Tell you what, we've mentioned Pep Guardiola there, and of course Chris Wilder is the boss of the Blades. Let's hear from both ahead of today's first featured game.
Really enjoyed my team's performance against the best team in the Premier League and possibly one of the top teams in Europe. So more of the same. Can we just get that balance of really good performance with maybe getting something from the game? And the players are in good spirits this week. They know they're in the division to pick up points. They understand that. But they understand as well a good performance from a not so good one, and we can take heart from that at Anfield last Saturday.
With this amount of games, if the manager has to motivate their players, this is over. They can be from inside for every player, the desire to play good, to improve, to help the team, to them to feel I'm an important player, I want to be decisive in every single game. This come from themselves, inside of themselves. We can suggest ideas, but playing every 3 days, I cannot make a speech every day to motivate them. So I'm not here to motivate them. So they love to play football. They like to be part of the Premier League and the Champions League and this competition, and this is the most important thing.
Well, we didn't have an extensive list. It was quite a small list. I'll be honest with you. So it's not just go out and get a centre forward. Suits our play. 2 up the top of the pitch, goal scorer, box player, a young player that he can prove and grow with us. He can improve himself, and we can try to improve him as well.
Premier League, they have the football players 47% more muscular injured than the previous season, due no preparation, due most of the teams, and due a man of games. So all the leagues, Germany, Spain, everywhere is 5 substitutions to protect the players, not to protect one team or another team, to protect the players.
That's Pep Guardiola, and before that Chris Wilder. Jamal, I'll pick up on the last 2 answers there. A couple of interesting news angles of the week. We'll go Pep first of all, saying he wants them to revert back in the Premier League to 5 subs per game, as it was for Project Restart, as it still is in, as he says, lots of other European leagues in Europe, but not this time around in the top tier. We're back to 3, aren't we? What do you think?
Yeah, I find it strange. Obviously, just doing it after the lockdown and stuff, especially with the quick turnaround. I think Pep's hit the nail on the head there. Protecting the players is the most important thing, and obviously they're suffering from injuries. You've got Liverpool suffering from injuries, but everybody will be. It might not be now, it might not be in a week's time, but it might be in a month or 2 months' time where people start to pick up injuries, and that's because the players haven't had the rest that everybody needs. It's been a strange year for everybody, but protecting the players and injuries, I think, is the main focus, and I think that should be looked at.
Just while we're on Pep for a second, renewed reports linking in with maybe a return to Barcelona. Do you see that happening or not?
Gosh, I think Barcelona are in a crossroads at the moment with everything that's going on. again, like, football is just in strange times, and even clubs like Barcelona can be in the mire as well, and they're no different. Obviously, their president resigning the other day, the pressure that he's under from the rest of the board, and Lionel Messi, probably arguably the greatest player to ever live, and all the rest of it. So I think it's difficult, and for Pep to go back in there, I think there's a lot to happen first before that can happen.
We shall see. And just a very quick word on Rhian Brewster, who Chris Wilder mentioned there. Big money to sign the young striker from Liverpool. I think hopefully it will come good, but it's a big ask, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's no secret that Chris Wilder, he does love a striker, and he was looking to add to his extensive list of firepower. He's scored goals, and Liverpool did think highly of him, but it is a massive ask for a young boy. Obviously a big price tag on his back to come in and start scoring the goals, and I think they play a lot different to how Liverpool did, where he got a lot of chances and things like that. So it's going to be difficult, where he might have to carve out his own chance, or he might only get 1 or 2 chances a game, and he's got to be really prolific. And I find it strange that players like Billy Sharp is not playing more often, because more often than not, when he plays, he scores, and he's been a saviour for them for so long and on many occasions. So I hope Rhian Brewster does well. He's a young boy, and he comes with good pedigree, so I really hope it does work out for him.
Excellent work from Jamal Campbell-Rice at TalkSport Live. Drop us a tweet with your thoughts on the game, and that is up next. Sheffield United and Man City, right here, Premier League Live.
As darkness sweeps around the globe at 8 p.m. on the 18th of November, 25,000 people worldwide will pull their running shoes on to hit the road for a virtual 5 or 10k at Run in the Dark. I'm Mark Pollock, and by joining us to Run in the Dark this November, you'll be supporting the Mark Pollock Trust and our charity partner Collaborative Cures, whose mission it is to cure paralysis in our lifetime. Register now at runinthedark.org and get your medal, your flashing armband, and your Run in the Dark virtual timing app. Thank you.
Let's talk about you looking after your business. Ford, looking after your vehicle. Let's talk hassle-free Ford leasing. Just a fixed monthly payment, no motor tax to deal with, and no maintenance or servicing to pay on selected plans. Get the Ford Transit Custom from €290 per month. Hassle-free Ford lease. Now we're talking. Search Ford Lease or text Ford to 50015 to speak to us about leasing your next vehicle.
Text cost to standard rate. Price quoted for Transit Custom base with no maintenance. Over 4 years with 3 monthly rentals in advance. 20,000 kilometres per annum. Business users only. Price excludes VAT. Ford Lease is provided by Merriam Fleet Management, trading as Ford Lease.
Get ready and hold on tight, because the Premier League is here! Which teams will stay on track? And who'll go off the rail? Get the Irish Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews, and opinions from the biggest names in football. Plus, expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed, because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
This is not the time for business as usual. It's time for effort and imagination. It's time to use technology to start your online plans. It's time to work from home to stay in touch. It's time to look to each other. Erscá Céile. Ireland is working online with help from Black Knight and .ie, because now we need better than business as usual. Call Black Knight on 059 918 3027 or visit blackknight.ie.
123inc.ie have your office needs covered. So whether you're an accountant, butcher, carpenter, dentist, electrician, florist, graphic designer, hairdresser, journalist, lecturer, musician, optician, retailer, teacher, solicitor, web designer, or yoga instructor, we've got what you need. And we're cheaper than your current supplier. 123inc.ie. For home, for office, for less.
Introducing Guardson Sport. Protect your sporting equipment from COVID-19 for up to 14 days with Guardson Sport Disinfectant Treatment. Ideal in team sport settings with the sharing of balls, rackets, gloves, helmets, and all other sporting equipment. Guardson Sport kills COVID-19 on impact, keeping surfaces free from COVID-19 and other viruses and bacteria for up to 14 days by creating a protective polymer layer on application. For more information on Guardson Sport and other quality assured, certified and approved PPE, visit yourcovidprotection.com.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Sheffield United against Manchester City from Bramall Lane. I'm your host, Russell Hargreaves, and alongside me is the former Charlton, Sheffield United and Jamaica winger Jamal Camel-Rice, and this is Premier League Live. Kick-off just a couple of minutes away in the Steel City. We'll run through the teams again as the players come out in front of us in a second, but Jamal, your thoughts on how this one will pan out and why? What are one or two of your key battlegrounds?
To be honest with you, Russ, I can't see anything less than a Man City win. It's just, obviously, I fear for them a little bit up top, obviously not having that natural goal scorer, but I do fear for Sheffield United if Man City do get an early goal. If they do get an early goal, then I think they can run away with it. For me, it's important that Sheffield United can stay in the game as long as possible, make it as horrible as possible, and then maybe try and catch Man City out on a set piece or a run of play, and take it from there. But for me, I think it's going to be midfield is massive for me. What they can do, how they compete in the midfield. Obviously, Man City have got so much quality in there, and Sheffield United will just have to work as hard as they can and really dig deep. But yeah, for me, Man City 3 points.
We are about to have a minute's silence in just a couple of seconds' time. Of course, we've got Remembrance Sunday not too far away. This is the closest home game for the Blades to it. We've also seen Nobby Stiles, as we know, pass away. Key member of the 1966 World Cup winning team for England. Such a popular figure who died a couple of days ago at the age of 78. Also seen the passing away of a Manchester City youth player as well in the form of Jeremy Whiston, a Malawi-born player who died sadly in the last few days too. So a minute's silence. Edition of the last post there from the bugler here as the rain tumbles down at Bramall Lane. Born but not forgotten, they shall not grow old as we do, as we remember the UK's war dead and those who've given their lives and made the ultimate sacrifice in defence of their country. As we also mentioned, Jamal, such a sad week with the passing of Nobby Stiles and also the passing of young Jeremy Whiston as well. Just really, really tragic.
Yeah, terrible news. Obviously, Nobby Stiles, a legend for England and a great icon of the game, and for the young boy at Man City, is just a life taken too soon, and these things are so tragic and unfortunate, and my thoughts are with his family.
Yeah, we completely echo those sentiments. Let's then focus back on the positivity, on the match itself in front of us as we prepare for our traditional homage to Black Lives Matter in a second before kick-off as well. Michael Oliver with his whistle close to his lips. So, Sheffield United, Manchester City is our commentary game here on Premier League Live. Sheffield United lining up with just the one change to the side that lost narrowly to champions Liverpool last time out. Max Lowe is back into the team. John Lundstrom, contract of course up in the air, drops down to the bench. It'll be Ramsdale in goal, Egan the skipper, Basham and Stevens at the back, Baldock as the right wing back, and either Lowe or Osborne as the left wing back. The other of those two will play in midfield with Ampadu and Berger, with McBurney and Brewster up front, Verrips, Lundstrom, Sharp, Burke, Norwood, McGoldrick and Robinson at the bench. As for Manchester City, 3 changes to the side that drew 1-1 against West Ham in their last Premier League game. In come Laporte, De Bruyne as skipper and Ferran Torres. Gundogan and Garcia dropped to the bench. Sergio Aguero is injured. It's Edison in goal. with Kyle Walker, Ruben Diaz, Raheem Sterling, Emerick Laporte, Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Ferran Torres, Riyad Mahrez and João Cancelo as the starting 11. Carson Stones, Ake, Gundogan, Zinchenko, Foden and Garcia the replacements. Already a lively start for Manchester City. Down the far side, Raheem Sterling zipping in and out. Nice little turn. Plays a loose ball to the edge of the penalty area where Sheffield United get it partially clear, but City pick it up again through Emerick Laporte out to the far side to João Cancelo. And this, Jamal, is already an impressive start from Manchester City, exchanging passes at will and looking like they're pretty dominant and pretty full of intent.
Yeah, just it looks like this is going to be how the game's going to set up, and just don't think it's what Sheffield United want. They want it to be a little bit more 50-50, but obviously a great start for Manchester City, and obviously they're showing their intent.
It's tricky, isn't it? You do need good defensive skills and to set up with a fair degree of defence, but if you invite a team, Jamal, like City onto you, you can ask for trouble pretty much from the get-go, can't you? It seems to be a bit of a double-edged sword.
Absolutely. I always think it's a recipe for disaster, teams that invite pressure and sit back for 90 minutes, because 90 minutes obviously defending, not only the legs get tired, the mind gets tired. So when that happens, that's when mistakes happen and players start to capitalise on that. So I hope Sheffield United do have a go today.
Well, they did win a free kick deep in their own half, which was belted downfield in the direction of Ollie McBurney. Did his best to control it on the right edge of the penalty area. Sheffield United get it back through McBurney, who just plays it downfield as far as Ben Osborne, who does appear to be playing, I think, in midfield with Max Lowe as the left wing back to answer that big quandary that we had pre-match. Ryan Brewster doing his best to put pressure on Ruben Diaz in the City defence. City play themselves nicely out of trouble. Triangular exchange of passes between Diaz, Laporte and Henderson. And it's now Emerick Laporte who brings it forward for Pep Guardiola's men up to halfway. Played 2 minutes and 40 seconds here on Premier League Live. It's Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 0, and as ever a pleasure to bring this game to everybody around the world. We love bringing you the English top tier. This game 2 of match week 7. Seen Wolves beat Crystal Palace already 2-0. Wonder what will bring you today. Bernardo Silva on the left edge of the centre circle. Sheffield United just trying to hassle and harry and press their opponents and deny them time and space on the ball. City forced back to halfway. Kyle Walker up against his former team. In the end, the ball trickles out of play for a Sheffield United goal kick. As we take a little look on the big screen as that big ball forward, McBurney trying to make a nuisance of himself, and just a question of whether or not João Cancelo edged him illegally off the ball. I think that's the question, isn't it? Nothing given, Jamal.
Ollie McBurney's a big boy though, isn't he?
Very big boy.
Yeah, he's I think for the rest of the game, I think you'll see him dishing out a lot more than he's receiving, so things like that, I think that will just set him up for the game and get him even more up for the game. So
certainly one of the things that McBurney brings to the table. Doesn't necessarily bring you a lot of goals at the very highest level, but like so many Sheffield United players, Jamal, workmanlike and doing their part for the broader collective.
Absolutely, I think that's why he's done so well at the club as well. But having played at Sheffield United, sometimes it's not about always the quality on the ball or the goals in his sense that he can give, but his effort and workmanlike and endeavour that he shows game in, game out. And it's the same with everybody else, like you alluded to. He's been a real success since joining from Swansea.
Cost a fair bit of money as well, Ollie McBurney. One or two issues on and off the field, but certainly getting a good run at the moment. Again, Manchester City just confident to play the ball in and around the edge of their own penalty area and slowly work it forward. Ruben Diaz wearing 3. One of their latest big money signings, the Portuguese at the back. It's his pass downfield looking for Raheem Sterling, but it's breezy as well as drizzly out there, and then in the end, Jamal, the ball just trickles out of play for another goal kick. Dealing with these elements won't be the easiest either, will it, early on?
Yeah, I think the first 5-10 minutes everybody will be feeling their way into the game. I think as Ramsdale did just seeing the ball out of play, just be happy to give his boys a bit of a breather, regroup and go again. Again, they'll just look for McBurney on this long kick and try and get them up the field.
Ramsdale smacks another one downfield, doing exactly that. And Ollie McBurney with an excellent cushioned header up against 2 Manchester City players. Through ball is slid through looking for Ryan Brewster. he can't quite get there, but he wasn't a million miles away, and that was positive for Sheffield United. This could be, as you say, a possible outlet for them in this game.
Yeah, I think Sheffield United, they'll be looking for them things, set pieces, goal kicks, where they can get up the field and use their physical presence against Man City. Man City are a lot weaker in that sense compared to Sheffield United. Sheffield United play for a lot of those, and they're really effective, so McBurney will be really looking for those opportunities.
6 gone, it is 0-0. Remember, at TalkSport Live, keep your tweets coming in. KingSo.io has tweeted in saying that Man City will win this by 3-2 in the end. We'll see whether it's as exciting and high scoring as that or not. Miracle, meanwhile, has gone for a 2-1 Manchester City victory. So at TalkSport Live, drop us a tweet what you think the final score will be, and ideally why. Your thoughts on the two managers. Will Pep end up at Barcelona? What can Chris Wilder do to reinvigorate the Blades after this long winless run in the Premier League, after their successes for the majority of last season? At TalkSport Live. And also, just where you're listening from, what you're up to, send us a picture. We love to hear from you at TalkSport Live. City through Kyle Walker, playing a little 1-2 with Riyad Mahrez, the, as I mentioned, former Sheffield player. Head up, surveys his options. Rodri and Mahrez this time exchanging passes, and Rodri, the enforcer in midfield. Delightful crossfield ball to Raheem Sterling on the far side. Sterling cuts past one player, past two, past three, thinks about pulling the trigger, looks up with his arms outstretched, asking for outlets and options, of which there were none, and very close to the opening goal there, Man City. Sprawling save from Aaron Ramsdale to his left. And tonight, I think it was Ferran Torres, decent header on target, just to the keeper's left. Ramsdale keeps it out, but the ball is still live, and here comes City again through Jacques Cancelo as far as Sterling. This time his shot is blocked by Ethan Ampadu, who comes searing out from his own 6-yard box to make an excellent interception. Two good chances back to back for City, 7.5 minutes in, and here on the near stand side they come again through Riyad Mahrez as far as captain for the day, Kevin De Bruyne. This time his crossfield ball looking for Sterling was not ideal. George Baldock with the interception, but again the ball falls back to City, and they're coming forward again in numbers. Bernardo Silva back to Raheem Sterling, who calmly this time just plays the ball back, and as it's back to halfway, Jamal, your thoughts on those chances?
Yeah, I think the most disappointing thing there for Chris Wilder for me would be that Man City, Ferran Torres, not a player that you would think would be winning balls in the air from crosses, and to get across his man like that in the box would be really disappointing. But brilliant play from City, superb football, and I think it was Rodri that got the ball out wide, and there was a superb crossing from Cancelo.
Yeah, it was very decent play from Manchester City, who are back on the attack again. Another through ball as far as Ferran Torres, who can't quite keep it in play, but gives a thumbs up to his midfielders as we take a little look on the replay on the big screen, Jamal. And he got there well ahead of the defence, and probably a yard either side of Ramsdale. That's a goal, because it was a powerful connection, wasn't it?
Yeah, brilliant movement from the striker, from Torres there. I'd expect Ramsdale to save that, but again, Ender Stevens would be really disappointed there that he let his man get across him, but nice and positive. And then the play there just didn't show Riyad Mahrez breezing past Max Lowe down the line there and getting another crossing. That was really positive from Mahrez, who's a scary player on his day as well.
Yeah, he most certainly is. Riyad Mahrez, by the way, with 99 goals and assists in the Premier League, so direct involvement in 99 goals across his time with Leicester and Manchester City. Can he, I wonder, hit number 100 today? We'll wait and see. And Kyle Walker, by the way, this is his 100th City appearance in the Premier League against his old team. It's a big day for Kyle, and potentially for Riyad Mahrez as well. Again, in these breezy conditions, Man City just overhit their through ball, and Aaron Ramsdale, who made that save a couple of moments ago, more than happy to come to the right-hand edge of his penalty area, pick up the ball. He now just rolls it forward to the edge of the D, and right-footed smacks it downfield. Man City in the opening 10 minutes already with 84% possession as the away side. We kind of expected that. It shows that Sheffield have got to kind of survive on scraps, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely. I think McBurney there on a couple of occasions just showed what he's all about. His physical presence has been brilliant, bringing players into play from goal kicks. That's awesome, and I think they'll be looking for a little bit more of that from him. But just going back back there to the stats that you just said there about Riyad Mahrez, it's unbelievable. He's some talent, and he's been a absolute revelation since coming over to England.
Yeah, just don't upset him and engineer a move away, because that was the one time it got a bit iffy, wasn't it, when he went on strike?
Yeah, but I suppose players, if a team doesn't want a player, they're happy to get rid of him, but when a player does so well, obviously they want to get rid of him, but sometimes it's those moves you really can't turn down.
Interesting perspective, actually, yeah, because I think a lot of the media at the time was very negative toward Mahrez's actions, but as you rightly say, had the boot been on the other foot, you don't necessarily know you'll get the support from a club, do you?
Yeah, if you're not playing well and your lack of form and teams want to sell you and all the rest of it, then they'll be happy to do that way. He's earned his move, and why not? They got great money for him, so I think he deserved it.
And he's on the ball now. Riyad Mahrez, beautiful control with his left boot. Infield now to his captain De Bruyne, who plays a sumptuous ball with the outside of his right foot to Raheem Sterling. What a trio of stars to have behind the front man. Through ball from Sterling, takes a little deflection, and once again Ethan Ampadu, who's nominally a midfielder today, just tracking back and helping out his already three centre halves with another decent interception. Could argue that Man City are up against 6 or possibly even 7 defenders today. Another through ball to Sterling, cuts it back. Excellent and vital interception from the Sheffield captain John Egan. Irishman had to be there to make that block at the expense of a corner, otherwise that was surely a certain goal.
Yeah, definitely. The intricate play in and around the box is breathtaking at times, and the movement from these boys as well, like Raheem there, like he was on the ball, then he's off the ball and he's running, and I think it's so difficult to defend. That's why earlier on when I said like defending for 90 minutes, it gets really tiresome, not only for the body, but what a chance there.
Was a good opportunity, first corner of the game. Aymeric Laporte coming up from the back, just his second Premier League start, given all his injury woes this season. The Frenchman, De Bruyne's delivery, Laporte ghosting in. That was a really good chance that he stuck about a yard wide. Really good chance, wasn't it?
I really think Chris Wilder would be a little bit concerned and worried a little bit that set pieces are what you can see him there in the video saying they got to get tighter in the box, and that's what they're best at in the box and set pieces, and they'll be really disappointed.
Laporte, looking at the replay again, really should have stuck that away. Yes, he had one defender on him, but he nicked in there first and from point blank range guided his chance just wide. At the other end, again surviving on scraps, Ollie McBurney controlled the ball well initially before Rodri trotted back and broke up play as the Spaniard does so adeptly and gets it back for Manchester City. 13 played, Sheffield 0, Man City 0. Testimony has tweeted in saying, good afternoon guys, I'm from Ibadan in Nigeria, nice to listen to you once again, hoping for a Sheffield win or draw, as I'm a Manchester United fan. Fair enough, Testimony, you never know, got to say balance in play so far, not looking like it, but it is still 0-0, and in one sense Warder has managed to achieve his objective, even if at times, particularly from set pieces and balls out wide, Sheffield United's defence has looked in a little bit of trouble. Here's Laporte again, so comfortable on the ball, good to see him back. It is nice, isn't it, to see him back, because he was brilliant till he had that awful injury midway through last season.
Superb football player, absolutely love him, not only for his defensive qualities but on the ball as well, just so comfortable on the ball, and he's perfect for what Pep Guardiola's all about.
I know this is the kind of problem you want because you're competing in multiple tournaments and people get injured and not and so on and lose form, but when you've got Nathan Ake, Ruben Diaz, their big new signing, and Laporte, which two do you play? Given the fact Ake's only just on his way back from a niggle himself, and that's why he's on the bench.
I think what's really good about Nathan Ake is that he can play probably left back, centre half as well. So
and give left-footed balance as the centre half as well, which the others can't.
Absolutely, and Ruben Diaz, obviously he's just come, not seen too much of him.
Ball given away there. Manchester City, just the architects of their own downfall for a second. Good work from Max Lowe, the new man back into the team, wearing 13. Couldn't quite get a shot on target, but at least managed to win a throw in an attacking area of the field. And here comes Sheffield United again. Ethan Ampadu has been excellent at both ends of the field so far. Beat one player in Mahrez, couldn't beat a second. Manchester City get it back. Sheffield United had committed men forward. They could be in trouble here. It's 3 against 4 as De Bruyne pokes one through, but it's asking too much of Raheem Sterling. And again, John Egan standing tall at the back for the home side, and again he needed to.
Yeah, 100%. Great defending in the end, but it's these transitions that I really fear for Sheffield United. When they're in possession, they give the ball away, and Man City are able to turn and break so quickly, and just a little bit cute there from De Bruyne, and I think Raheem Sterling would have been in.
Sheffield United back on the attack. Here's Ryan Brewster, edge of the area, up against Ruben Diaz, but the man signed for big money from Liverpool, with of course a potential return fee, a break clause in 3 years to go back to Anfield if things go well. Just couldn't quite get there. Diaz just stood his ground nicely and managed to engineer the ball clear. Showing a picture on the big screen here at Bramall Lane of Phil Foden, off the bench to score the equaliser against West Ham. Also pretty impressive in Europe in midweek. If things aren't going well, he's just the kind of guy they can bring on, isn't he?
Unbelievable football player, unbelievable talent, and the way Pep Guardiola's nurtured him over the last few years. I know in the last couple of years there were cries for him to be playing more regularly and this, that and the other, but with obviously the undoubted talent that they got throughout the squad, I think Pep's done an unbelievable job in just nurturing him in, and he's been superb.
Here comes City through Riyad Mahrez. This time he cut onto his left foot and went for the in-swinging corner. It was low and slightly scuffed, but it still created a fair degree of trouble as Torres and De Bruyne both went for it. In the end, Ramsdale got there and managed to just hack it clear, punch it clear with his right glove. That sets up another Sheffield United counter-attack. Osborne, who's come to the near side, intertwining with Lowe. Lowe's delivery, promising, but McBurney just a little bit too much asked of him and couldn't really attack the near post. He's not the quickest, is he? And that's one thing you're going to struggle to get from McBurney, is to ask him to make those darting runs.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's why obviously Ryan Brewster's next to him. He offers that. McBurney's got his different qualities, good in the air, great physical presence, and you're just hoping that Brewster can do all the off the ball running down the sides and causing problems that way.
So 17 gone, Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 0. Remember, Man City without Aguero again, Fernandinho, Mendy. We thought we might see Gabriel Jesus back in the squad today. He's still out as well. At least Ake is back to the bench, but one or two walking wounded, and no wonder pre-match Pep Guardiola talked about how there should be 5 subs in the Premier League this season like last, given the muscle injuries, 47% up on last season. Player welfare is key. But at the moment, we stick with the 3. Nearly 18 gone, 0-0, and the rain really is starting to come down. It's actually got worse in the first few minutes, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely difficult conditions, but the players will be used to that. It's just balls over the top might run through, so that's why you see Man City's short game so good.
An exchange of passes there as Cancelo lets the ball run. Shot from distance is an absolute howitzer. I think it was Rodri who pulled the trigger. It was at Ramsdale, but swerving. It was Rodri, and in the end, with that slippery ball, the Blades keeper does well to fist it behind for a corner.
Just what we was just talking about, the weather conditions there, Ross. That just showed straight away. Great strike from Rodri. You'd obviously expect Ramsdale to save it, but it just shows there that how difficult the conditions are.
So they've come close 3 times so far, Man City. Mahrez with a short corner, it's flicked on, the ball pings around the edge of the 6-yard area, could have gone anywhere. It's Rodri again who attacked that one as well, but Sheffield United blocked it and defended it well, and now Chris Wilder's men in the second bottom of the Premier League heading into today. They're engineering their own move downfield. It was a good move. To me, I thought that Baldock shoved Walker in the back. Regardless, the ball goes out of play and would have been a City throw anyway, but Ramsdale with a good save. I don't know about you, but Dean Henderson was so brilliant last season on loan in goal at Sheffield United. Ramsdale's obviously good himself, but he had big shoes to fill, didn't he?
Absolutely. I think I was speaking to somebody at Bournemouth in the week actually about Ramsdale, because I was there with him, and I was really interested at how well he actually has progressed, and there's that little bit of doubt. Has he got that one top class save in him? I'm not so sure, but he was brilliant at Bournemouth. Obviously got his move back to Sheffield United, but like you said, Dean Henderson was unbelievable for them for the couple of years that he was there, and huge shoes to fill.
Yeah, so Henderson of course in the current England squad. Ramsdale has been in and around it, and of course has been a prolific member in goal of the England youth teams, so we shall see if one or t'other makes the full transition in the months and years to come, particularly just while we're on it with England number 1 Jordan Pickford struggling. Let's be fair, there are options there, aren't there?
Yeah, I think it's just that opportunity that he's waiting for England. It's going to be difficult for him at the minute, Dean Henderson, because he's not playing at club level. So to throw him in at international level is always going to be tough. Obviously, he's got to try and get David De Gea out the side, which is never going to be easy. But yeah, Jordan Pickford, he is really having a tough start to the season.
Sheffield United back on the attack, and once again Ethan Ampadu is the man who picks up the loose ball. Long flat delivery though, sadly is overhit from the Blades' point of view, looking for Ben Osborne, who's never going to quite get there on that occasion. It was the skipper who tried to find him with a long ball over the top, John Egan. Just couldn't quite get that one on target. 21 gone, we stay. Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 0. Naija Picken has tweeted in saying City will comfortably win this one. I think it'll be tough early on though. That's from Port Harcourt in Nigeria. Naija, we thank you for that. TalkSport Live. We'll continue to read your tweets out throughout the course of the game. Mahrez under pressure, stood tall there. Sometimes his physicality and his desire to kind of work either when he's not got the ball or when he's in defence has been questioned, but did all right there and went for a fairly lengthy back pass to Ederson, who's pretty creative himself. Ball over the top from Kyle Walker, finds Mahrez again. Nice close control before Lowe comes steaming in with a good challenge. What do you make of that, Jamal?
Yeah, I think it's one of them, the fullback. I think Mahrez has got the better of him on a couple of occasions, so just wanted to let him know that he's there and he's not going to have it all his way.
Particularly on his return to the team, of course, after concussion. Max Lowe, signed from Derby County, 23 now, former England under-20s international, and to get concussed and have pretty bad blurred vision on your Premier League debut, the draw against Fulham was tough, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's never easy. It's not a nice injury to have. It's one of them that you've got to be really careful with, and hopefully he's back in the side now and he can stay in the side.
As we mentioned, he went through all the Premier League concussion protocols and ultimately only missed the one game, which was the Liverpool loss. That was when Osborne filled in that position, and he's just tucked inside into midfield. But we are seeing a bit of interchangeability, the two kind of supporting each other when needed, and you need to when you've got some of these City players bearing down on you.
Yeah, most definitely. You just see their movement now, just watching them off the ball, how much they run. Everybody looks at City and thinks, oh, they're just that neat, intricate team. But it's the amount of work that everybody does off the ball. They make 4, 5, 6, 7 runs before they touch it, and they eventually get in. They're just unbelievable. Look at this football now.
Silky interchange of passes as far as Raheem Sterling, and the ball from Ferran Torres is kept out by Ramsdale. It was a beautiful exchange of passes. Sterling's cross, Torres stuck out a boot, and it was straight at Ramsdale from point blank range. He makes the save with his chest, then manages to gleefully get hold of the ball with his glove. So close to the City opener there.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, but I just think it's one of them that you just he should score, really. Just hoping to get his toe in it. I think if he scuffs that, it goes in. But this one's just hit Ramsdale there. But like I said, the movement and the football that they play at times is really scintillating.
We've seen a Ferran Torres header saved and a point-blank shot saved. We've seen Laporte fired just wide. We've seen Rodri with a great effort saved. City certainly going through the gears as they look for the opener here. It's over Torres. Chested down from Mahrez just over the bar. The Algerian just leant back. Ended up perhaps firing it more off target than we might have expected. And as the rain properly pours down now, Mahrez not too far away either, Jamal.
It's attack after attack there, Ross, and I just think Chris Wilder will be really disappointed with how many balls in the box are landing to Manchester City players, and it just seems like it's a matter of time before one of these does convert into a goal. But again, unbelievable down the left hand side, and that's where they seem to be getting most of their joy.
24 gone, so we're just over halfway through the opening half, and it remains Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 0. Going to be another goal kick in a second to Sheffield, which Ramsdale will pump downfield. In the meanwhile, Brent Parker has tweeted in, always gets in touch for our commentary, saying up early for the game in frosty Montana, USA. With all the games and all the leagues played at such a frenetic pace, I still count on my EPL Saturday mornings as my beacon of light for the most exciting games and the most exciting commentary on the planet. Good man. And Brent says that City will win this one 2-0. As one of our listeners know, he owns a restaurant in Montana, and always Jamal tweets us a picture of what he's rustling up for later for his clients. Nice bit of cheesecake.
Brilliant.
Blobs there of strawberry jam or raspberry drizzle, a strawberry on top, bit of cream. Looks very, very tasty. Wouldn't mind a slice of that myself, would you?
Oh, God. Yeah, summer's coming, I'm shredding.
Well, hopefully half-time here they'll find us something. Anyway, here come Manchester City. Walker to De Bruyne. Another dangerous delivery from the Belgian. Whipped the cross in from the far side, and guess who? John Egan, the skipper, again with another block at the expense of a City throw, which De Bruyne takes quickly. He finds Bernardo Silva. There's two men on him immediately. Has to go back to Rodri. Since that rain cannoning off the roof above us as well here in South Yorkshire. Mahrez for once slightly miscontrols. Ender Stevens, another Irish star, with the interception this time, out for another City throw. This is verging on biblical proportions, this rain now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not nice to play in, but I don't think Man City are letting it affect them. They're playing some great stuff, and again we just saw that run that De Bruyne loves, that in to out run, got in there, and great defending there from Egan, but it's brilliant football.
Through ball, I think he could well be onside here. Torres, he looked up and in the end played it infield to Mahrez. Ultimately the flag did go up eventually, of course, as we know. Referee's assistant should keep their flags down. He did, until it eventually went up once the player touched the ball, and I think that was the right decision ultimately. But again, Sheffield United nearly cut open by the ball over the top.
Yeah, he's causing a few problems for me, Ferran Torres. I was a little bit sceptical about him playing through the middle, but he looks lively. He looks like he's really eager to keep running in behind and making those runs across the defenders, and I think he started off really well this first 27 minutes.
Well, he's been playing well in Europe. He became just the second City player to score in his first two Champions League appearances in midweek. Mario Balotelli did it in 2011. He did it in midweek. We'll come back to that in a second, because Sheffield have won it back. Sander Berger, who of course scored the penalty that put Sheffield United ahead against Liverpool last time out before they lost 2-1. Won it well, the Norwegian, but was then dispossessed, and City again now having the ball back, rampage forward through Raheem Sterling. Sheffield United forced from attack into defence as City again effortlessly work the ball downfield. De Bruyne to Walker, who's in space against his old club, and Kyle Walker on his 100th Manchester City Premier League appearance guns the ball into the net. Walker scores against his old team, and finally, having huffed and puffed, City take the lead. It's Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1.
Brilliant, absolutely fantastic from Raheem Sterling. He's picked that ball and he's travelled 40-50 yards with the ball. Great feet on the halfway line there, and superb football. Kyle Walker, absolutely superb finish in the bottom corner. Ramsdale, no chance.
Very, very nice finish. We mentioned that milestone for Walker today, and what a way to bring it up. He is still a very, very good player, isn't he? And I think sometimes people slightly forget that.
Kyle Walker is a fantastic football player. Unbelievable. At times I think he lets his concentration slip and this, that and the other, and he has his critics, but for me, one of the best fullbacks in the world. His pace and his power and his footballing ability are superb. Great goal. But I think we've been speaking about this for the last 4 or 5 minutes about it's a matter of time before the goal comes, and Man City have got it, and I really do now fear for Sheffield United.
Yeah, what does Sheffield do now? Do they push forward and try and stay in this game? But if they do, they'll create an even more porous issue at the back that could hurt them and possibly lead to, I wouldn't say blood on the walls here at Bramall Lane, but it could get nasty. We're far from there at the moment, but Man City have dominated pretty much every stat out there. They've got to be very, very careful, Sheffield United. One down as we approach 29 minutes. Ramsdale with the big ball forward, which is slightly miscontrolled in these slippery conditions by Ruben Diaz, but second time around he gets there ahead of Ryan Brewster and plays it again back to his goalkeeper Henderson. Now Rodri brings it forward for Manchester City, and again light blue shirts swarming forward. City, I forgot to mention by the way, in their traditional light blue tops and socks with white shorts and white trim. Sheffield United, by the way, kicking from right to left in the first half here on Premier League Live, are in their traditional kit as well. So red and white vertical striped tops, black shorts, red socks, again with a little bit of white trim. As Man City on the far side win another throw. Pretty relentless, isn't it? Every time Sheffield do take the ball up for a minute or two, that's literally it before they're back on the defensive. And surely, Jamal, this has just got to keep wearing away at you, I'd have thought.
That's what I alluded to earlier on in the show, Ross. I just think it's so difficult when you're on the back foot for the whole game. It's like and people think you just get tired through your legs. You get tired through your mind, and it's like boring, like just wave after attack. You really need to be switched on and concentrate. It is tough when you're just on the back foot constantly, and Sheffield United, for me now, for the next 5-10 minutes, I just think they need to consolidate, get everyone behind the ball and find a way to hit Ollie McBurney and try and bring players into play. I think that's going to be their best route, or maybe get Rhian Brewster down the side so they can turn them and start playing in their half.
Sensible tactical ideas from Jamal Campbell-Rice. Will that be instilled, I wonder, or not, by Chris Wilder on this, by the way, because he still looks for 100 wins in charge of the club. He's been stuck on 99 in all comps for a fair while. Ball goes loose and Man City nearly capitalise again. I think Sheffield United's defence could have done far better there. They're terrified, aren't they, of Raheem Sterling? They stood off him and he nearly found Ferran Torres down the far touchline again. Hender Stevens looked like he got the fear of the Almighty in him as Sterling ran at him.
Russ, I think Joel Baldock, he's having an absolute torrid time at the minute, whether it's Raheem Sterling, Cancelo, Ferran Torres, whoever's pulling out onto that left hand side, they're absolutely doing whatever they want, and I definitely think that George Baldock could do with a hand out there.
Yeah, Baldock struggling, Basham also, and Stevens, all three of them there. Baldock, I think you're right, it's the right wing back in particular. All, didn't they look frightened to stick the boot in and try and make the challenge?
Yeah, it's so relentless down that side. They haven't even really got the ball out to Mahrez. They've been getting so much joy down that left hand side, and yeah, I think Man City have seen that. They smell blood and they're going for it.
Absolutely. And then when Mahrez does get it as the alternative foil, he's either happy to cut inside as he does here, or obviously have a little pop at Max Lowe as the man returning to the team as well. The options are multifold for Manchester City, who lead by 1-0. Sheffield United, by the way, have never beaten City in 8 Premier League attempts. Will it be 9 now? 3 draws, 5 defeats, including the double by City against them last season. And he scored 1 goal in this fixture in the Premier League era. That was by Brian Dean in 1993. So just after the Premier League began. My goodness, that is a long old while ago.
Yeah, that's some stat plus. Wow.
So 77% possession now to Man City, 272 passes to Sheffield United's 82, and their 23% possession. City in complete control, looking for 4 straight league wins against Sheffield for the first time since 1930. The Blades, by the way, when both teams were in the Championship at least, did win 1-0 back in the year 2000. That's been their only joy in many a year. Here come Man City again through De Bruyne with a nice ball with the outside of his right foot. Sterling, was he brought down? The answer was no. But then another Manchester City player on his shoulder is brought down. I think it was John Egan, the guilty party. Sterling could have easily won a free kick himself, but as Torres cut in, he was brought down, and we do have a Manchester City free kick, Jamal, in a pretty attacking position.
Yeah, I think this is Kevin De Bruyne territory. I think we've seen over the years how potent he's been in these areas, and I must say, Russ, I've been really impressed with Ferran Torres at how he's running the line. I think a minute or two ago he made a great run across the line and got a ball played into him. He's been really lively.
Certainly looking pretty good for him on his return to the team so far, with of course no Jesus, still injured. We thought he'd be back on the bench today, but isn't. And Sergio Aguero out injured again, and once again the veteran Argentinian out for a few weeks as well. Here's Ferran Torres saying that Premier League wise, he's done well in Europe as we mentioned already, he could be the option to fire in the goals while the other strikers are out injured. Anyway, free kick to Manchester City. It will be De Bruyne to take it, it's on target, and credit Ramsdale who saw it late as the ball fizzed through the wall. He makes the save and we stay at 1-0. Jamal.
Yeah, very clever from De Bruyne. I think we saw that a couple of seasons ago where he wants the wall to jump, which they did, and he just strikes it underneath him. He's done it again, but great hands from Ramsdale in this weather.
Man City once again not too far away from a second. Remember, they could fly up from 13th to 7th in the Premier League if they win this game. Great control on the far side though from Sheffield United. For once Man City's defence was stretched. Brewster then to the loose ball. Man City recover well and at least concede no more than a throw, but nice play down the Sheffield United right.
Yeah, definitely. I thought he could have travelled a little bit more to almost wait an extra couple of seconds to get that support, but positive play.
And Lowe manages to get the cross in from the near stand side. It's deflected off the goal scorer Kyle Walker and behind for a Sheffield United corner. That'll be, of course, their first in the game, having had little so far to really feast upon. But nice to see the Blades first of all down the right and switching to the left, having a little bit of joy down both flanks.
Yeah, I think this is where they'll be hoping to apply a little bit of pressure on Man City now. They see everybody's all on Henderson.
Decent looking corner, and will that be another one? It is. And tell you what, Chris Basham was kind of unmarked there. Carl Walker is saying that he climbed on him, the Sheffield United centre half, but rose easily and actually managed to get a header toward goal. Not far off, actually, looking at the replay at all, was it? And Walker did well to get there and make the interception.
Yeah, it was almost too casual from Carl Walker there, not jumping, not really competing, and I think he, like you said, he got a bit lucky.
In swinging delivery as Sheffield United look for the equaliser. This time it's Rodri, midfielder, but so useful at the back as well, who's back and heads it clear under considerable pressure. Sheffield United once again had committed plenty of men forward, and as a result was slightly short at the back as Man City tried to counter through Kevin De Bruyne. And even though George Baldock's had a tough time at points during this match, he did well there with a good sliding interception on the fizzy surface, Jamal, to make the challenge. That was a key one, wasn't it?
I think he needed to make that. If he didn't, it was one or two things. It was either going to be a free kick and probably a booking, or De Bruyne would have been threatening in behind him.
Ethan Ampadu has just brought down Bernardo Silva. Ampadu's been playing pretty well so far, but a degree of frustration there as he slid in, bore his man down, and that could have easily been a yellow card by the current laws for me, but he's got away with it. Bernardo just saying to the ref, to Michael Oliver, why wasn't that maybe a booking?
Yeah, he got lucky there, Ampadu.
So 6 free kicks so far, 6 fouls from Sheffield United to 1 from Man City. Certainly putting themselves about a bit in this game, as we well know. Anyway, De Bruyne's delivery, it's a lovely, lovely free kick, and it finds Ferran Torres, who just ghosted away from the Sheffield United defence. Glancing header, this time a couple of yards wide of Ramsdale's right-hand post. Great free kick, not far away again, Jamal.
Ross, how many times are we going to say it in this first half about Sheffield United's lack of defending? And they've been so good at it over the last season or so, been obviously threatening both boxes, and they've not got the first ball at all in this half.
37 gone, Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1. Another City corner from the far side. De Bruyne, right-footed, swings it in. It's flicked on by Rodri. That could have gone absolutely anywhere. The ball whistling past the 6-yard line, with Sheffield United's defenders merely passengers. Mahrez picks up the loose ball, takes it along the dead ball line. In the end, it ricochets last off him and behind for a goal kick. And again, after good work from Max Lowe at the end, Sheffield United just clinging on to this 1-0 deficit, aren't they? Crikey.
Wow. Great feat from Mahrez there. Superb. Unlucky with the ricochet has come off of him, but what a talent he is. And yeah, like you said, Sheffield United are absolutely clinging on.
I'm just looking at the replay of De Bruyne's free kick earlier, so cleverly under the wall. Berger and various other players jump, and it leaves a yawning gap underneath, doesn't it? Deary me. You can just see what De Bruyne wanted to do, as you called at the time. He's such a clever player.
I think Chris Wilde will now be like, get him into half time, hopefully be 1-0, and just regroup. And I think there'll be a couple of things that it'll be, maybe even personnel, that he'll be looking to change.
We've still got 8 minutes till half time, so looking quickly at that bench, you've got Lundstrom, Sharp, Burke, Norwood, McGoldrick and Robinson, quite a few of whom have played a lot of top flight and a lot of first team football for Sheffield. What might you think about doing then?
Well, for me, I was looking at it before the game, and I was looking at the subs that might happen, and I know Lundstrom's not the apple of his eye right now, but he might be one to get in there for that experience in the middle of the park, because they seem to be getting stretched all over the place there.
Completely agree. Just at the other end for a second, Sheffield United do well. Ryan Brewster just ghosted away from his defender. Cross from the right, pretty sure it was from Baldock. Bent in. He managed to get a little bit of a glancing header on it, but Brewster just having to climb and stretch a bit too far. Could only just guide it toward the edge of the 6-yard box and ultimately out of play for a throw, which Manchester City will take. 39 almost gone. Sheffield 0, Man City 1. The goal scorer against his old club was Kyle Walker. He takes the throw back to him. His clearance is then deflected. It spirals up into the air. Pleased to say that awful apocalyptic rain earlier has eased a bit. We've even got a little bit of sun now breaking through the South Yorkshire clouds, and a little bit of a bright patch to our right on the pitch, which I didn't think we were going to see a few minutes ago. Jamal, that's a good sign, isn't it?
Sheffield for you. You never know what you're going to get. wear shorts but bring an umbrella.
Well, there you go. That's exactly what has happened so far. I've had pretty much all the seasons in one, because a good chunk now of the right edge of the pitch is bathed in sunshine. It's been a remarkable turnaround.
Get the deck chairs out, Ross.
Get the ice cream out. You name it, my friend. Knotted handkerchiefs. The absolute works. Wagon, which is Michael from Ghana, says it's Sheffield United's time for redemption in this game. Very optimistic. And Denzel also hoping for a Sheffield win. That's from Lagos in Nigeria. At TalkSport Live, keep your tweets coming in. As Sheffield United again give the ball away, and Manchester City counter-attack. They've poked the bear as Mahrez finds De Bruyne, almost pokes it through as far as Raheem Sterling. Baldock with a semi-interception. The ball ricochets back though to Manchester City. Lovely mazy run from Cancelo. Oh, what a chance for Ferran Torres for a second. Almost not greedy enough. I think he should have just fired on sight. He tried to guide it in field instead to Sterling. The block was made by Ampadu, and Man City waste another gilt-edged chance to make it 2-0. That was a really good opportunity.
Do you know, Russ, I have to disagree with you there. I think he's gone to shoot with a side foot, but I just think it was poor technique.
Oh, it's so far off target. Yeah, it was a cross.
I just thought it was really poor technique. I think he's gone with the wrong part of his foot there. I thought he should have just struck through it. He's obviously just tried to go a little bit safe, but again, down that left-hand side, what we spoke about throughout this whole half, Ross, again, like, who was that? Cancelo. That was unbelievable feet down the left-hand side there.
He was in that little sliver of sunshine as well, wasn't it? So it's quite hard to see who it was, but no, it was, I think, Cancelo. And yeah, so it was either an awful shot that was nearly a good pass, or it's very hard to say there from Ferran Torres. And after we'd praised him to the hilt for his contribution, maybe a sign that there are one or two aspects of his game that still need a little bit of work with the intensity and pace of Premier League level. Anyway, Sheffield United give it away again. Here come Manchester City. De Bruyne with a brilliant run, took 3 players out of the game, almost slid the ball through to a teammate on the edge of the penalty area. And again, last gasp stuff. Sheffield United just about make the interception, but De Bruyne looking full of pomp and confidence and fully fit there with another amazing mesmeric run. It was awesome, wasn't it?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And again, now I spoke about it earlier on in the half about the transition, and I think it was Ethan Ampadu that just gave a simple ball away there, just in Man City's half, and then Man City were like the red arrows there breaking.
They didn't quite have the smoke coming out of their proverbials, but apart from that,
I think if you look closely.
Very good. Oh, dearie me. Approaching 40 minutes gone. Sheffield 0, Manchester City 1. Could easily be about 5-1, I think, in this game, if not more. Here's Sander Berge, who did well, by the way, when Man City lost possession a little earlier. It was his interception. He at least sets up a Sheffield United attack. Good run down the right-hand side. It was Baldock once more off balance, managed to put in the cross, slightly overhit. Osborne came searing in to try and get there on the left edge of the penalty area. Couldn't quite do so. Bernardo Silva wins it back for Manchester City. Sheffield United pressurised the combination of Mahrez and Walker. Ball takes a deflection and trickles out for a throw to Manchester City just shy of halfway. Was Baldock, and that was nice, wasn't it, from Berger and Baldock combining well on the far side?
Yeah, it was nice positive play, nice and positive going past Rodri there. Unlucky, overhit the cross a little bit, but yeah, it's nice to see them in the opposition half trying to be a little bit more positive. But Man City for me have been brilliant, superb.
City considering building again from the back, and why not? João Cancelo's come in field slightly, and De Bruyne is almost playing as the left back for a second there. Almost total football. Carol's tweeted in, big Manchester City fan from Florida, loving the commentary, says listening with the family, enjoying breakfast and cheering on City. Well, Carol, your team are just on the back foot again as Sheffield United continue to enjoy a slightly improved spell. Wouldn't be hard given the last few minutes, but this has been better. Ampadu, as far as Ender Stevens, who pokes it forward. As far as that left wing back, the returning Max Lowe. Back to Ethan Ampadu with options limited in front of him. The young Welshman on loan from Chelsea finds Sander Berge. Man City just calmly pressing forward, easing their way out of defence for Sheffield United back. Slightly lucky ricochet, the ball falls back to Lowe. Osborne's cross in swinger, not bad at all. Cancelo under pressure, defending perhaps not his strongest point. His header clear, a little bit suspect. Baldock picks it up, finds Chris Basham, wearing 6. Experienced defender, formerly of Brentford. 1-2 with Berger, the Norwegian. First time cross from Sander Berge was a good one. And City again, by hook or by crook, hack it to safety. safety. Berger keeps it in play on the far side. De Bruyne up against George Baldock. Baldock wins it again, takes a ricochet. Another Sheffield throw just by the corner flag. This is much more like it all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's only taken them 44 minutes for us to have a go. But yeah, like they'll be hoping. I just think there was really good play, but if they can try and throw the ball in the box a little bit more, I think Ollie McBurney is desperate for that ball to get in the box so he can start making some challenges and create some opportunities.
Yeah, McBurney hasn't seen a lot of the ball in recent minutes. Brewster's done his best to make a nuisance of himself, but it is not easy up front for Sheffield United. Is that a foul? It was a slip from the Sheffield United defender. Raheem Sterling was searing forward. Basham, I think, was in a foot race he was destined to lose, but looking at the replay, Sterling did put an arm on him, but Basham certainly made the most of it to make sure he got the free kick for me.
Yeah, it looked like a little coming together there. Basham a little bit lucky, but Man City always looking to run off the ball, and especially when the ball falls to De Bruyne, you're always going to get picked out more often than not.
Basham has fallen on his right wrist, which he's holding. Sterling sportingly comes over to see if he's okay. Basham will play on, but he's still holding that wrist. I think just as he fell, he falls awkwardly on it, and then Sterling accidentally treads on it, which he clearly didn't intend to do.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. These things happen though.
Yeah, certainly wasn't anything intentional from Raheem Sterling there. Ball over the top from the free kick from Sheffield United. In the end, Osborne feels he was shoved in the back, I think by Ruben Diaz. Referee's having none of it. Ball goes out of play, and we'll have just the 1 minute of additional time, and it's done and dusted already. Half in the end going by in the blink of an eye. Sheffield United at least finishing it strongly, but the team second bottom of the Premier League find themselves losing again. Manchester City ahead thanks to a great goal on his 100th Manchester City appearance from Kyle Walker. England right back against his former team, rifling it into the bottom right hand corner of the net. City could have had countless more. They lead by 1 goal at half time. This game's still very much alive. Plenty to play for in the second half. At the break, it's Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1 on Premier League Live.
Every weekend with Sky Sports and Sports Extra half price. This week it's Man United Arsenal, live only on Sky Sports. In one of the Premier League's most historic fixtures. Get Sky Sports, BT Sport and Premier Sports half price for 6 months. Search Sky Sports Sale. New sports customers only. Standard pricing applies after 6 months or if cancelling one element of the bundle. Minimum term and further terms apply.
Let's talk about you looking after your business. Ford, looking after your vehicle. Let's talk hassle-free Ford leasing. Just a fixed monthly payment, no motor tax to deal with, and no maintenance or servicing to pay on selected plans. Get the new Ford Puma from €385 per month. Hassle-free Ford lease. Now we're talking. Search Ford lease or text Ford to 50015 to speak to us about leasing your next vehicle.
Text cost to standard rate. Price quoted for a Puma Titanium with no maintenance over 4 years with 3 monthly rentals in advance. 20,000 kilometres per annum. Business users only. Price excludes VAT. Ford lease is provided by Marion Fleet Management, trading as Ford Lease.
Get ready and hold on tight because the Premier League is here. Which teams will stay on track and who'll go off the rail? Get the Irish Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews and opinions from the biggest names in football, plus expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
This is not the time for business as usual. It's time for effort and imagination. It's time to use technology to start your online plans. It's time to work from home to stay in touch. It's time to look to each other. Erscá Céile. Ireland is working online with help from Black Knight and .ie, because now we need better than business as usual. Call Black Knight on 059 918 3027 or visit blackknight.ie.
123ink.ie for all your home office needs, including printers, ink, toners, paper, label markers, binders,
pens, bins, batteries, boxes, chalk, compass, files, memory sticks, highlighters, glue, notepads, pencils,
Whoa! And we're cheaper than your current supplier. 123inc.ie. For home, for office, for less.
Introducing Guardson Sport. Protect your sporting equipment from COVID-19 for up to 14 days with Guardson Sport disinfectant treatment. Ideal in team sport settings with the sharing of balls, rackets, gloves, helmets and all other sporting equipment. Guardson Sport kills COVID-19 on impact, keeping surfaces free from COVID-19 and other viruses and bacteria for up to 14 days by creating a protective polymer layer on application. For more information on Guardson Sport and other quality assured, certified and approved PPE, visit yourcovidprotection.com.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Sheffield United against Manchester City from Bramall Lane. I'm your host, Russell Hargreaves. Alongside me, the former Charlton, Sheffield United and Jamaica winger Jamal Campbell-Rice. This is Premier League Live. Thank goodness the weather's improved after a serious deluge for the first half an hour. There's been a deluge of shots and opportunities for Manchester City. They only lead at the break by 1 goal. Here's how the first 45 minutes played out. Silky interchange of passes as far as Raheem Sterling, and the ball from Fernan Torres is kept out by Ramsdale. It was a beautiful exchange of passes. Sterling's cross, Torres stuck out a boot, and it was straight at Ramsdale from point blank range. He makes the save with his chest.
Like I said, the movement and the football that they play at times is really scintillating.
De Bruyne to Walker, who's in space against his old club, and Kyle Walker on his 100th Manchester City Premier League appearance guns the ball into the net. Walker scores against his old team, and finally, having huffed and puffed, City take the lead.
Absolutely fantastic from Raheem Sterling. He's picked that ball and he's travelled 40-50 yards with the ball. Great feet on the halfway line there. Superb football. Kyle Walker absolutely superb finish in the bottom corner. Ramsdale no chance.
It's Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1. That is the score at half-time. Jamal Campbell-Rice still alongside me with a nice cup of coffee just to keep us warm at the break. Jamal, I wonder what we're going to see in the second half. I do suspect more goals, but as you said, what will Sheffield United do to counter it, particularly as they did at least finish the half a bit more brightly, didn't they? That's got to be a factor too, I'd have thought, in Chris Wilder's thinking.
Yeah, absolutely, but I don't think they could have got any worse. They offered little to nothing really in that first half, which was really disappointing. It was literally the last couple of minutes where they showed flashes of what they could do, and I think Chris Wilder would most definitely be looking to make a couple of subs. I would be anyway. Just looking at the subs bench there, I'd be looking at players like Oliver Burke, who's plenty of energy, who just caused problems by closing down and running down the channels, because I think that's what they've lacked up top. I think we alluded to it earlier with Ollie McBurnie. He's not really going to be one to be running in behind, and was really looking for Ryan Brewster to do that a little bit more. When you're not a team in possession, you need to be thinking, what am I doing out of possession for my team? And I don't think either of them have offered too much going forward.
Okay, so that's where we stand at the break in our featured commentary game. Remember, Wolves beating 10-man Crystal Palace 2-0 to start game week 7 last night. 2 more commentary games to look forward to later on today. In just over an hour and a half's time, it's Burnley versus Chelsea. John Anderson and Gabby Agbonlahor are our commentary team for that one. Let's hear from Sean Dyche, the Clarets boss, saying that Frank Lampard, his opposite number, has done an exceptional job in his view so far.
Well, it's all part of the learning curve for Frank, I'm sure. Had a really strong first season. Spent a lot of money, but he'll know, the different teams he's worked in and managed, that moulding period to get all them players to align and pick your best team, and the ones who work together on the pitch and the ones who find a blend that works and is successful. They're all the challenges that come of any coach or manager in the Premier League. He'll be looking to do that individually. I think we all know they've got some very, very high level individuals, and trying to find the mix that works for him on a regular basis. Every manager's trying to do that.
So one manager very complimentary about the other. How do you see Burnley, Chelsea going later, Jamal, and why?
I think it's a season where you don't know what you're going to get from anybody.
Absolutely.
And I think Chelsea, I think that they're at the top of the pile of that. I think going forward at times they show some great stuff, great attacking intent. And like we said, I think that's where the majority of their new recruits are coming in. He's just trying to get them. I think Sean Dyche just mentioned that. Got to find that blend and who links up the best together. Timo Werner, I think he's perfect for this league with his attacking intent, his pace and his threats running in behind, but it's all the others that he's got to get to mould and gel together. But We all know what we're going to get from a Sean Dyche side. They're going to be hard to beat, hard working. So I think they'll make it really difficult for Chelsea.
Okay, then at 5:30 UK, so in around 4 hours' time or just over, we bring you Liverpool, the champions, up against West Ham United, who, of course, did so well against Manchester City last time out with that 1-1 draw. David Moyes' boys in some degree of form at the moment, which is good to see after one or two of their woes a little bit earlier. Now, as you mentioned before, Jamal, Rhys Williams, the young defender, is one who could well feature in this one. Let's hear a bit from his boss, Jurgen Klopp, about it.
The situation was one of the benefits of having Vitor Majos in the coaching stuff, because he made us aware of him and said he is really good, so take him in training, stuff like this. So that's what we did, and he looked good. But we have still Billy the Kid, and we have Nate Phillips as well. So these are the boys. Billy was not available for some reasons in the last 10-12 days, but he's now back, and that's they train all with us, they are all with us, and now we have to make decisions.
Jurgen Klopp on Rhys Williams. Jamal, I know you had a little bit more to add. You wanted to on that before we ran out of time before.
Yeah, he's a player. Obviously, coming out of Liverpool, I hear, and everybody's like raving about him, and I hope he does get his opportunity and he gets a run of games. Obviously, a lot of injuries back there, so it's a perfect opportunity for him to go in there and try and make a name for himself and try and rubber stamp his name into the game and into the Liverpool starting 11. But it's going to be difficult, but he's got bags and bags of experience around him, which you'll definitely need.
Thank you to Jamal Campbell-Rice. Plenty more from he when the second half gets underway in a couple of moments' time. Loads of other commentaries to bring you, by the way, over the course of game week 7. Tomorrow we've got Villa Southampton, Newcastle Everton, Man United Arsenal. That should be an absolute cracker. I'm at that one as well. I think it should be a really good game. Spurs Brighton. Can Tottenham bounce back from that horror show, of course, in the Europa League up against Antwerp? And then Monday night, Fulham West Brom, Leeds Leicester City. That completes your match week. At TalkSport Live, keep your tweets coming in as well. Carol, by the way, when she said she was loving the commentary, enjoying her breakfast, she sent a nice picture in of a few crisply cooked strands of bacon. What else have we got there? Scrambled egg, got a few berries. Looks very, very nice indeed. Carol, good work. Jonathan, who's from Port Harcourt, says, happy to hear the commentary today, guys. Man City will go on to win this by 3-0. Philip Kujo Aduna, listening from Accra in Ghana, says 2-0 the final score, and surely Chef U are candidates for relegation come the end of the season. Enjoying the commentary. We'll wait and see. And Michael L, hoping that we continue to get a good match as he drives all the way through Iowa, USA. He says if you've ever driven across Iowa, you'll know why. Hopefully, my friend, with not too much to see out the window, we're giving you something for your earbuds to keep you entertained. Second half of Sheffield Man City to come next, right here on Premier League Live.
As darkness sweeps around the globe at 8 p.m. on the 18th of November, 25,000 people worldwide will pull their running shoes on to hit the road for a virtual 5 or 10k at Run in the Dark. I'm Mark Pollock, and by joining us to Run in the Dark this November, you'll be supporting the Mark Pollock Trust and our charity partner Collaborative Cures, whose mission it is to cure paralysis in our lifetime. Register now at runinthedark.org and get your medal, your flashing armband, and your Run in the Dark virtual timing app. Thank you.
I was never good at spelling. I could read just fine, but I would be afraid if anybody asked me to do anything involving spelling. But since doing the course, all that has changed. I am braver. In fact, I feel braver than ever now. You know, you're never too old to learn. Never.
If reading, writing, maths or technology is holding you back, take the first step. Free phone 1-800-2020-65 or text LEARN to 550 to see how we can help. This free and confidential service is supported by your local ETB, Solis and Nala.
Create the Premier League atmosphere at home with Harvey Norman, the home of the big screen. Feel like you're on the pitch with our stunning range of 4K smart LED and OLED TVs from LG, starting from just $449. Plus, hear every kick, save, tackle, and decision with LG's best-in-class soundbars. Get TV ready for all the big games with Harvey Norman. Shop online today or safely in our spacious stores. Harvey Norman, home of the big screen.
Demanding a high performance from your team? You
You should be demanding the same from your tyres. The Irish Tyre Industry Association is urging motorists to stay safe this winter and check the condition of your tyres. You could even be liable for a fine and 2 penalty points if found driving with tyres below the legal tread depth limit of 1.6 millimetres. ITIA expert technicians will carry out a free tyre safety check to ensure your tyres are safe and legal. Visit itia.ie to find your local expert.
As Ireland's homegrown insurer, FPD knows it's empowering when someone has your back. So switch your van insurance to us and get up to 75% no-claim discount. Visit fpd.ie to request a quote. FPD Insurance. Support. It's what we do. Terms, conditions and underwriting criteria apply. 75% no-claims discount is based on proof of 5 years no-claims discount and available to new commercial motor customers only. FPD Insurance Group Limited, trading as FPD Insurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Commercial motor insurance is underwritten by FPD Insurance PLC.
At Paddy Power, we know competition for the remote control can be fierce at the weekends. So in order to give the non-football loving occupants of your house something to do, here are some of our top suggestions. Go for a walk the dog, go cycling, cycle the dog, recycle the dog, just go! All very good options, we say. And that's not the only one. If one leg of your 4+ fold ACCA lets you down, get a free bet on all football leagues and markets. Paddy Power. Max free bet €10. Min odds 1 to 5 on each leg. Online exclusive. Excludes shop bets. T's and C's apply. 18+. Need help? Visit gamblingcare.ie.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Sheffield United against Manchester City from Bramall Lane. I'm your host, Russell Hargreaves, and alongside me is the former Charlton, Sheffield United and Jamaica winger Jamal Campbell-Rice, and this is Premier League Live. Teams just making their way out from the tunnel ahead of the second half. Sheffield United coming out first. And Jamal, the improved weather has continued. Of course, it is still a very slick playing surface after all the deluges of the first half. And in a moment, we'll see, won't we, Sheffield United go through that training regime on the side of the pitch to warm up that they tend to do, which I find fascinating. Not many other teams do it, do they?
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things that a lot of strength and conditioning coaches just think after you've been sitting down for 15 minutes, just get your legs back going straight away before the half starts again, instead of taking 2 or 3 minutes to get going into the second half. So just a little something just to get the body ticking over again. That's exactly what they're doing in front of us as Manchester City prepare to make their way out in the second as well. Joseph Emmanuel saying, guys, you make me feel like I'm watching the match with your commentary. Good job from Ibadan in Nigeria. James Pickard wishing the pair of you a very good day from a chilly Tampa, Florida, hoping for an Arsenal win tomorrow. Love your football commentary, it makes my morning. Nice one, my friend. Joe Ely on a chilly morning in Minnesota, USA. We're babysitting our granddaughters for the weekend. We've got your fine commentary in our Bluetooth earbuds as I help feed breakfast to the little ones. Raheem Nababrace and get me a 3-1 City win. Joe, I was feeding my 3 kids earlier as well who are pretty young, and I know exactly what you're going through. It's great fun, but it can keep you busy. Lautec Crazy King, I don't know what's gone wrong with Sheffield United this season. I really hope they can impress in the second half. Well, Lautec, we will see if they can. Right, the players are out there for the second half. We've still got about a third of the playing surface bathed in sunshine, which is good to see. And we await the second half. Sheffield United a goal down, courtesy of that strike from Kyle Walker against his old team, as Michael Oliver blows his whistle and we get the second half underway. Long ball over the top from Sheffield United, looking for the outlet that is Ollie McBurney, the Scotland international striker. Can't quite get there. Good work from goal scorer from the first half, Kyle Walker, and the ball trickles out of play for a throw. No substitutions as far as we can see. So Sheffield United have got Ramsdale in goal, Egan the captain, Baldock as the right wing back, Lowe, Basham and Stevens, the rest of their 5-man defence, Osborne, Ampadu and Berger in midfield, Brewster and McBurney up front. The bench when needed is Verips, the sub-keeper, Lundstrom, Sharp, Burke, Norwood, McGoldrick and Robinson. And it is the Sheffield United goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale who's got the ball, right-footed, belts it downfield. And in the end it's McBurney up against Cancelo fighting for the ball, and João Cancelo, I think, has been deemed the guilty party there, Jamal. Yeah, I think McBurney, he's had absolutely nothing to feed off in the first half, but one thing he did give you is that presence, like from goal kicks and set pieces, that he puts himself about, and I think he linked the play as well as he could in the first half, and just there it's brilliant that he can get his team up the field, and they'll be looking for a lot more of these. And to be fair, looking at the replay, Cancelo
Caseo definitely nudged him in the back as he went to jump McBurney, and the referee got that one spot on and gave it the strikers away. Sander Berge will take the free kick. It's powerfully struck. Oh, it's disappointing though. It's overhit in the end from the Norwegian, and it flies out of play for a goal kick. Henderson happy to let the ball drift over his head, and you can see how annoyed Chris Wilder is there. That's just their meat and drink, and these are their golden chances, aren't they?
Absolutely, I completely agree with you. I think players, when they're taking set pieces, they think it's all about getting power. You just got to put it in the area and allow your players have something to go and attack. You don't need to take the lever off the ball, and just got to give the players something there. But obviously he's overhit it.
Here's Bernardo Silva just forced back as Max Lowe puts the Portuguese under pressure. Back to his keeper Ederson. It's flicked on nicely by De Bruyne. It wasn't the best of clearances for once. De Bruyne made it appear better than it was. He finds Ferran Torres, who had so many good chances, the youngster, in the first half, that he failed to take for a second goal. On the far side, Riyad Mahrez up against Lowe. And again, Max Lowe did well. Osborne there helping him out as well. And Sheffield United managed to get the decision their way. Osborne just brought to ground by Kyle Walker. A couple of niggly fouls from City early in this second half.
Straight away though, in the first 2-3 minutes, I'm seeing the pressing a lot better from Sheffield United. I see up front, I saw Brewster closing down a little bit better. Max Lowe helping out his left side centre half there, like doubling up on Riyad Mahrez, and we just weren't seeing that in the first half. So I think Chris Wilder would definitely say, like, we've gone away from what we're really good at, which is pressing and getting in people's faces, and hopefully they can continue that in the first half, because they certainly didn't do it in the first half.
And that maybe answers Lautek's tweet from half time as well. What's wrong with Sheffield United? And maybe it is that. It's understandable, isn't it? I think over time that you do go away slightly from what was so good, and also other teams can probably evolve and adapt and learn if you don't do the same, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, and I do think, like I said earlier on in the show, so many people have asked me what can Sheffield expect from the season, and for me it's literally just consolidation in the league again, because this league is so difficult, and they start thinking that they should be in Europe and things like that, and they're so wrong.
Raheem Sterling with a nice run and shot that was blocked from distance. The ball ricocheted as far as João Cancelo, who was dispossessed, and Sheffield United dealt with that combination of both Sterling and the Portuguese Cancelo very nicely indeed. And another measured build-up from Chris Wilder's men. Ethan Ampadu to Chris Basham, now to George Baldock, the right wing back. We'll get a good view of him from just in front of our vantage point here on Premier League Live in the second half. The Englishman plays it infield to Ampadu once more. Sander Berge is in space. Dangerous looking delivery from the number 8. Frustratingly just beyond McBurney and just beyond the unrushing Ben Osborne as well, but not far away, probably a yard closer to the strike force, and that could have been maybe an opportunity.
Yeah, better build-up play from Sheffield United, and I think they'll be looking for a little bit more than that. Overhit it a little bit, but I like his intent.
Francis has tweeted in thinking that Sheffield could yet win this one 3-1. Very ambitious, but you never know, my friend. Light of the gods, Genius and Victor. Shout outs to all of you as well. Victor, listening from Abuja in Nigeria, wherever you are around the world. We love to hear from you at TalkSport Live. Keep your tweets coming in. 50 minutes gone. Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1 if you're just joining us. Sheffield back on the attack through Basham to McBurney. Lowe with a nice ball on the overlap to his fellow left-sided player Ben Osborne, who does his best to try and cut around Kyle Walker. Osborne thinks he's won the throw, but Walker in fact has won it for Manchester City. The goal scorer from the first half, back on his old stomping ground, does a good job. He takes the throw in quickly as far as Bernardo Silva, who juggles it, boots it forward looking for Ferran Torres. Torres struggles to hold that one up. Mentioned a couple of good chances in the first half for Ferran Torres, starting in the Premier League today after a good showing in Europe. He is still only 20 years old. It's only his 4th league appearance. He's got 4 caps for Spain already. £20 million signing from Valencia ahead of this season. Not the most money for a young prospect, so I think it's definitely worth a little bit of time and investment. And as we know, Pep Guardiola is so good. Look at someone like Eric Garcia, Phil Foden, bringing young players on. Even Raheem Sterling, who appears so much a better player now than when he came through as a youngster. Anyway, here comes Sheffield United once more through Osborne, who's enjoying a good spell. He's got support from Enda Stevens, his Irish centre-half. The pair of them, though, can't get the job done. And Manchester City get the ball clear. More good work from Riyad Mahrez without the ball there, who continues again to evolve and become a more all-round player under his manager Pep Guardiola. Ball booted downfield, headed down by George Baldock for the home team. But again, Manchester City easily win it back through João Cancelo. And yeah, Pep Guardiola is, isn't he, very good, Jamal, just improving players, coaching, working with them and getting the best out of them.
I think he's the best at it. Just taking them young players. I think you just using Raheem Sterling straight away, like on the top of my head, he is some player now. I think we remember when he was at Liverpool, he was a little bit rash. He always had that ability to go past people and be a threat, but now he's almost like the finished article. We just see his stats alone. His stats are fantastic. He's getting 20 plus goals a season now, which is unbelievable.
There's another chance for Ferran Torres there. Ramsdale came hurtling out of his area, initially looked to be in trouble, but then did well to block the shot and then pounce upon the ball on the edge of the penalty area. So Torres denied again, and straight away at the other end, here comes Sheffield United. Players swarming forward. Sander Berge back to Chris Basham. They love to put one of the centre halves forward. It's one of their trademark moments. Basham it was. Back as far as Ampadu. But in the end, Manchester City commonly get back and do really well to win it back. Sheffield again had committed men forward. Suddenly it's 3-on-3 at the other end. Walker through to De Bruyne. First time ball to Mahrez. Left-footed cross is a good one. Oh, it's miskicked by Baldock. Sterling just stood off the Sheffield United defender. Baldock miscontrolled, but in the end they did not get punished, and the ball ends up back with Aaron Ramsdale. Nearly rickety, but fascinating football at both ends there, Jamal.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that would have been called offside if Raheem Sterling had gambled and got a touch and it went in. But George Baldock looking a little bit shaky there. I think that's been the story of the game for him, being a little bit shaky. But brilliant forward play from them and better play from Sheffield United going forward as well. Look a little bit more competent and composed, and what they weren't showing at all in the first half.
Now, we mentioned how John Lundstrom has been dropped for this game, not through his performances, because he's played every game so far this season in the league and pretty much all of last as well, but as we're well aware, the midfielder doesn't want to sign a new contract despite the club and manager Wilder saying a good offer was put on the table for him. Well, Lundstrom is about to come on for the first time since losing his place for that reason, and Ben Osborne will be the player to go off. What do you make of that impending change in a moment?
Yeah, I think we called it pretty early on. I think it's no surprise for me. Everybody knows how well he's done since being a Sheffield United player, and for me, I'm a little bit surprised and a little bit shocked that he's turning down that contract, because no disrespect to Lundstrom, like this is, I think, the perfect platform for him, and I'm not sure where he's trying to go from here, but he obviously thinks he deserves better.
Well, Sheffield United have given the ball away. It's a good run from Manchester City. Did Kyle Walker keep the ball in play? The answer is yes. De Bruyne with a powerful shot from the right edge of the box. It's through a sea of bodies and it fizzes half a yard wide of Ramsdale's right hand post. So close to a second there, City.
So positive there from Kyle Walker. Brilliant wide man playing from a fullback. It's unbelievable. That looked like it was out to me, but the assistant referee didn't see it, and I'd expect Kevin De Bruyne to hit the target there at least.
Very, very close. As that substitution does happen, off goes Osborne, on comes Lundstrom, and I guess Lundstrom will add just a little bit more steel in the middle of the park, and as we know, that Nelson, that experience as well. Would that be a fair way to look at it?
I think you've hit the nail on the head. He's just in there to thicken it up a little bit. I did worry, I said it at the beginning of the show, I worried for Sheffield United's midfield, and they just showed it in the first half.
It's another potential Manchester City counter-attack. Michael Oliver gets in the way and is almost part of the swarming set of players charging forward. Bernardo Silva to João Cancelo, cuts infield on his right foot. His pass was poor on that occasion, play broken up by Sander Berge. Ampadu with the ball downfield wasn't the best. That was cut out by Emerick Laporte, who's just quietly got about his business at the back, having had that chance to score earlier in the game. And City have another platform from which to attack. 55 gone, Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1. De Bruyne just in front of us, lovely infield ball to Bernardo Silva. He twists, turns under pressure from George Baldock. Infield now, back to halfway to Ruben Diaz, the Portuguese, signed for £61 million from Benfica. Big old signing a few weeks ago. Now De Bruyne picks up the loose ball. Nice play again from Manchester City. Fairly cynical foul. De Bruyne is hacked down about 25 yards out. Again, dangerous territory, isn't it?
Just didn't think he needed to make that challenge there. I just thought that
Stevens, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought they were comfortable there. De Bruyne has miscontrolled the ball and he's facing facing his own goal. Just didn't think he needed to make that challenge there, and he's just put his team under pressure yet again.
Sheffield United, hoping to be one of only 5 teams who've got 0 or 1 points from this stage of the season to ever stay up in Premier League history. I think that makes it fairly apparent. Crystal Palace with none from 7 in 2018, and Southampton, Newcastle and Sunderland, who had 1 at various points with 7 played, have all just about done it. Nobody else has. Just gives you a feeling of the kind of trouble Sheffield United are in. Last failed to win any of their first 7 league games in 1991. They're on the defensive here. It's Mahrez's free kick. It was a beautiful dipping effort from the former Leicester man, and Ramsdale with an outstretched right glove does very well to press it behind for a corner.
Great save, great strong hand. Mahrez just got on the goalkeeper's side and tried to hit it low, get that little, use the dew off the grass, but brilliant save from Ramsdale.
Really was. Didn't see it too early at all, Aaron Ramsdale. The wall did its job. It was bent around that on this occasion, and the keeper, well positioned, had just about enough room. It's another corner though, which De Bruyne takes. Excellent diving header clear from Sheffield United. McBurney again is the team player, doing his best for the collective to get it half clear. Mahrez delivers it in. Oh, nice turn from Ferran Torres, who beat one player, which I think was Lowe. Couldn't beat a second, which was Ender Stevens. He put in the block. And Sheffield United are happy now to just smack the ball up to halfway and get the scantest of breathers before City come again. We're starting to see the second half begin to look a bit more like the first, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Man City are just getting into their rhythm again. The first 3 or 4 minutes are a little bit scrappy and scruffy, which Sheffield United were absolutely delighted to have it like that, but just seems like Man City are getting back into their flow now.
Ball back from Laporte to his goalkeeper Henderson, left-footed. Nice ball downfield. Conditions much better now as the Brazilian tries to find Raheem Sterling. Sterling up against Chris Basham, who puts in a powerful header, and the ball trickles out of play for a throw. If they do lose this game, it'd be Sheffield's worst top-flight start since 1975, and shouldn't forget they lost 2 or 3 toward the end of last season as well, so it's only 1 point in 9 Premier League games now since they beat Chelsea back in July, and that great win feels like a long time ago, doesn't it now, for Sheffield United?
Yeah, definitely. One thing I will say though is Chris Wilder, I'm not saying he's going to be happy, but I think he'll be okay at the moment that it's still 1-0. We know that Man City have shown frailties at the back and have conceded goals, so as long as it can stay 1-0, they're still in the game. They just rely on like a transition or a set piece.
Yeah, a couple of narrow defeats, if they can do it, would be something at least on the back of that point against Fulham that they did play in a couple of matches ago. By the way, the last time they went 5 without a win at home as well was the 93-94 season, and they are staring that in the face as well. So there are a few of Sheffield's concerns, but I think, as Jamal rightly says, to be 1-0 down as we approach the hour is not bad, and they've certainly had a few positive moments, no question. Again, by the way, it's Manchester City in possession here on Premier League Live. Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1. Played pretty much bang on the hour now. Laporte to Bernardo Silva. Diaz's pass wasn't the best. Sterling, though, did well to get there, but he was offside as he came to claim the ball, and Pep Guardiola's not happy, is he? He's pretty animated on the bench there, the City boss.
Yeah, most definitely. I think they turned over possession there unnecessarily, and I think deep down in his head he'll be over the moon that they're 1-0 up, but in the back of his head I think he'll be knowing that like they need another goal just to settle things down.
Yeah, Man City with Premier League wins twice this season, including of course over Arsenal, but then there was that 5-2 loss to Leicester, draws against Leeds and West Ham last time out. It's not been vintage, so Guardiola under a little bit of domestic pressure as the champions of a couple of years ago, and multiple champions in recent years. Here comes Sheffield United though. Berger with a clever clip cross to the far post, looking for the new man Lundstrom, who'd made an excellent run. John Lundstrom tried to flick it back under pressure, but Manchester City defend it on the edge of their own 6-yard area. Nice play from Berger, and probably knowing a flat low pass would be blocked. A good cross from the Norwegian that nearly let Lundstrom in. That wasn't bad, was it?
Yes, I think it's just situations like that Sheffield United, I think Berger's picked up that area a couple of times now in this half and got balls in the box, and I think it's almost like that's his area that he likes to drift out to and get crosses in the box, and I think it's encouraging, and there'll be moments that this is a terrible foul out.
Kevin De Bruyne upended by Lowe, who just trots away. Is he going to get away without a booking here? De Bruyne's not happy.
Oh, that's a booking.
That's a proper body check, isn't it? And De Bruyne's only just back from an injury, and he is often targeted, isn't he? And to me, that was a classic example from Max Lowe. Looked pretty premeditated.
Yeah, they're trying to press with a little bit more intent, but unnecessarily as well. That
Max Lowe does not get booked after a fairly flagrant, robust late take on Kevin De Bruyne. We stay at 1-0. The man who is returning, of course, from concussion stays with an unblemished record. 62 gone, Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1, as the ball trickles out for a Sheffield United throw that George Baldock will take in a second. You mentioned how things haven't been great for City. It's actually their lowest points tally at this stage of a Premier League season for 6 years, and given his brilliance at Barca, at Bayern and at City, it's actually Pep's worst ever start to a league season as a boss. And I mean, 2 wins, 2 draws and 1 defeat isn't terrible, is it? But it's his worst ever.
Yeah, I just think it's not great, and obviously people are pointing fingers and saying that he's not the same and this, that and the other, but I just think it's where football is at the moment. I think the league this year is so wide open and so many teams are surprising people. You just look at Everton and Wolves that we spoke about earlier. It's refreshing, but it's also surprising that Man City are what can we say, struggling a little bit at the moment.
By their lofty standards, exactly, having set the barrier so high. De Bruyne tried to thread a ball through, which was intercepted, and Sheffield United bring it downfield themselves. Nice play initially from George Baldock, who had Chris Basham outside him as another option, but the second cross was blocked. It's then cleared poorly by Manchester City. Raheem Sterling just caught in possession there, and here comes Sheffield United again. Berger, a little 1-2 with Baldock. Back to Sander Berger, of course scored from the penalty spot as they led Liverpool for a good chunk of that game last time out. Berger also had a very strong penalty claim for another spot kick at 1-0, turned down as well, that could have given that game against the Reds a very different outcome. Back to Ampadu, through ball from Ender Stevens is blocked, and Sheffield United find themselves back on halfway, but they're staying patient, Jamal, and that's important here, isn't it? They're keeping a decent shape.
Yeah, they are. I was actually just thinking that myself. Sheffield United had good possession there down this right hand side, but none of the Man City players are diving in, and I think that's a dive for me.
Now Chris Basham has beaten one player, which I think was Diaz, and then he can't beat a second, which was Cancelo. He goes down. Let's have a little look. First was Torres, beg your pardon. Yeah, second is Cancelo, and there's definitely no contact at all there, is there? But he doesn't really appeal to his credit too much either. I think he knew it deep down. At the other end, we're having a look at the replay I mentioned of De Bruyne's break, where, I don't know, did he take too long to get rid of the ball, or were the options not what he needed?
No, I thought he forced that one a little bit, which is surprising for Kevin De Bruyne. Normally he picks out the right pass. I would have gone with Mahrez. He's facing that way, and getting Mahrez 1v1 in the box, I definitely would have gone with that option.
Yeah, Torres on one side and Mahrez on the other. Regardless, it didn't quite work out. Another substitution for Sheffield United. Off goes Ethan Ampadu, who started the game very well, faded maybe just a little as time went on, but largely the youngster on loan from Chelsea acquitted himself well. And on comes Oliver Norwood, who something of a stalwart these days, the former Brighton and Fulham man. He's played a fair amount in the Premier League, and he's another good solid squad member, isn't he?
Yeah, Ollie Norwood last year I think was an ever present. So I'm a little bit surprised that he's not in the side now and all the rest of it. I think now people look at how much he can work off the ball, which obviously in a game like this he's going to be doing more work without the ball than with, but he'll definitely settle things down and put his foot on the ball and try and get Sheffield United a lot more comfortable possession.
Here can Manchester City though, looking for a second. Kevin De Bruyne shaped to shoot initially on the right edge of the penalty area, but nothing was really quite opening up for the Belgian playmaker. He was forced back, and again Rhian Brewster and Ollie McBurney pressing well for City all the way back to their goalkeeper Henderson. Equally adept with the ball at his foot is Emerick Laporte. The player exchange passes before Henderson this time has more space to clear the ball downfield to halfway, where Basham wins it well against Raheem Sterling. Always going to be one winner in the air in that battle between the two. I think on the ground it would be a very different story. Basham surging forward again, and Chris Basham spent most of the last 15 minutes forward, hasn't he? He's had a very busy time.
Yeah, I just think again, like what we spoke about, Sheffield United is definitely starting to try and play a little bit higher and press and get in Manchester City's face, and you can tell that by their right side centre half getting more involved in the attacking play. Brilliant from him.
Man City with a clean sheet so far as Basham again puts in the cross. Diaz getting there just ahead of Brewster. Made the block, but it again ricochets to Sheffield United. This is a much better spell from the home team again. Second bottom of the Premier League, 1 point only to their name. Norwood's cross was poor, but it rebounds to Berger. Excellent cross shot. The ball could have gone anywhere there. And in the end, Edison dived onto the loose ball. Sheffield United players all around him. Man City seriously ride their luck, but maintain their 1-goal advantage just.
Yeah, I think we spoke hugely about Man City trying to get down the Sheffield United right-hand side, and it seems like the Sheffield United are trying to expose Manchester City's left-hand side. They're getting a lot of joy down this side, and they keep on working at it.
Be it Zinchenko, be it Mendy, be it Cancelo, all of them I think are probably better going forward than actually out-and-out defending, aren't they? Which is possibly one of the few weak links in this City squad.
Yeah, I think you're right, but do you know what? I've been really impressed with Cancelo today. Really impressed with him. I know he's done most of his work going forward, but defensively when he's had to, he stood up well and hasn't committed any fouls, but definitely going forward he's been outstanding.
If memory serves, he's another sort of £50-odd million player who's taken a while to settle, but seems to be now starting to do it. Here is De Bruyne as far as Mahrez, twisting, turning, beats two players, Riyad Mahrez, and probably just overdid it, looking to try and beat another. Puts his hand to his head as he knows maybe he should have got rid of the ball and offloaded it after beating the first couple, but great close control, and again those beautiful close skills there of Riyad Mahrez. They really are impressive, aren't they?
Oh, he's incredible, an incredible footballer. I love watching him play. So confident, plays with a smile on his face, and it doesn't matter who's in front of him, he'll have a go at him.
Malik has got in touch from Ibadan in Nigeria, confident of a City win. People's Choice saying 3-1 to City in the end. Sia Solia saying it will still be 4-0 by the end as City continue to break Sheffield United down and get the job done. We'll wait and see as they look for their second. And TalkSport Live, keep those tweets coming in. Sterling, who's obviously helped set up the goal, but that aside has had a slightly frustrating few minutes. Guides it into João Cancelo, who, as Jamal says, has been very impressive, particularly in a forward capacity and cutting in field, but the ball's given away again, and Sheffield United can again breathe a sigh of relief. Berger back to Baldock, and now back to goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale. Excellent right-footed clearance, powerful one downfield. Rhian Brewster wins it against Cancelo in the air. No holding, no climbing, says the referee. And that good clearance from the keeper brings Sheffield United back into the game once more. Berger beats one player, beats a second in Cancelo, overruns it slightly, still puts in the cross. So close to the equaliser from Lundstrom, the sub. Boy, has he got a point to prove with those contractual issues. Right-footed effort, fizzes just over the bar. Sheffield mightily close to making it 1-1.
Again there, we spoke about it for the whole of this second half. Sander Berger there, brilliant play down the right-hand side. It's almost like a winger. And John Lundstrom, really disappointed there. He should be really disappointed not to hit the target, but fantastic play there from Berger down that right hand side. Keeps popping up down there, and well done.
Wow, very close to the equaliser there from John Lundstrom. And you do wonder, yes, he's been dropped with the contractual issues for this game. I do wonder whether he'll be brought back in for the next one, even if the club have admitted they'll sell him in January. What you'd expect is he's not the kind to chuck his toys out of the pram. Dare I say, maybe Riyad Mahrez style at Leicester. I think if he does come back in, he will still perform, I would hope.
Yeah, 100%. He's one of those players that you know what you're going to get from him week in, week out. He may not play great, but
ball's come loose, and here's Rhian Brewster through 1-on-1. Oh, he's gone for the lob instead of taking it round the keeper, and the young Sheffield United striker stays on. 0 goals for the club. What a chance. He tried to guide it over Emerson on the edge of the box. He certainly had the room and the momentum to maybe take it round the City keeper. Regardless, I'm afraid, Brewster fluffs his lines and they stay a goal down. What a chance.
Unbelievable, and definitely the wrong decision from the young man there. And I think I spoke about it earlier on in the show. I said, like, at Liverpool they create so many chances, but Sheffield United you may only get 1 or 2, and you have to be more clinical, and they're a very disappointing finish.
Well, Man City's defence was sliced wide open there. There was a yawning gap and acres of space, which made the miss all the more frustrating and I guess all the more apparent as well. We'll come back to that in a second, because Man City, again, that bear has been firmly poked. They want to get their second and try and put this game to bed. Sterling to Cancelo to Bernardo Silva. Back to Sterling, now back to Cancelo. Little intricate array of passes. Now Rodri calls for the ball and switches the passage of play from right to left. De Bruyne lets it run. It's back in field. As far as Rodri again. Right footed now. Riyad Mahrez is in space, still looking for that 100th goal and or assist in the Premier League. Back to the man who opened the scoring in this game, which feels like an eternity ago. Kyle Walker, 72 gone. Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1. Oh, Mahrez tried one of his guilish, impudent little through balls to De Bruyne, but it was well blocked right at the death from Manchester City. I think it was Ollie Norwood, the new man, who made that block. Here come Manchester City again, though, through Raheem Sterling, 30 yards out. Diagonal ball to this left-hand corner. João Cancelo, 1-on-1 against Baldock, who stands his ground well. Behind, though, for a Man City corner. Just quickly back to how they were cut open for that chance.
Yeah, I think we've spoken about Man City's frailties at the back, and they will give you a chance in a game. And Rhian Brewster, he's there 1v1, and just go round him for me. You just push it past him, and then you've got an open goal. But he's tried to be too cute there, and at a time like this, I don't think Sheffield United can afford for cuteness. They just need more potency.
I would say that there may have been a very, very tight offside had the goal actually gone in, but we didn't need to worry. Anyway, De Bruyne's corner is headed clear. Max Lowe, it was, who managed to get it clear for Sheffield United. So Ampadu and Osborne off, Norwood and Lundstrom on, the only 2 replacements so far. Sheffield have got 1 more in their locker. Manchester City, of course, have got 3 if they want them, not the 5, by the way, that Pep Guardiola wants, as he talked about with us pre-match. That said, Phil Foden and Ilkay Gundogan, not a bad pair of players to be warming up on your bench at 1-0.
Yeah, it could be worse, couldn't it?
Yeah, Phil Foden, excellent, of course, for club and country, and expected to get an international recall after his COVID misdemeanours. And Gundogan, multiple cap German international, he'd start week in, week out in almost any other team, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I think Gundogan, he's had some injury issues, but he's some football. What a pass!
Beautiful through ball from De Bruyne to Sterling. Will this be the second? Sterling still going. Oh, it's kept out. What a great chance. Torres was waiting for it. Sterling juggled the ball along the dead ball line, and in the end, brilliant block from Basham. It ricochets off him and back into the gloves of Ramsdale.
Look at this De Bruyne chap again, like unbelievable through ball, and Sterling unbelievable there. Unlucky. Basham just got his foot to it, but great play from Kevin De Bruyne, superb.
Gundogan was part of the team, by the way, that won in Europe in midweek. He's certainly been doing pretty well there as he eases back to full form and fitness. 3-1 against Porto, 3-0 in Marseille. Man City's impressive results so far. Back in European action again this coming midweek as well. It's coming thick and fast for them. Don't forget, as well as the Champions League and the Premier League, they've also got the knockout stages to come in the Carabao Cup, the latter stages mid-December when they play Arsenal in that as well. Chucking an FA Cup from January as well. This congested, shortened season is really thick and fast, isn't it? Nearly 75 gone. If you were a player now, you'd be kept pretty busy, wouldn't you, Jamal?
Yeah, definitely. Sheffield United, they've been a lot better in the second half than they were in the first half, showing a lot more threat and intent. Man City, they will feel though that they should be a couple of goals in front for sure.
Well, this time João Cancelo, having had a couple of decisions go against him, gets the free kick up against, I think it was Baldock there, and Man City get the decision for referee Michael Oliver, who I think largely has done a good job. He's been fair, hasn't he, and ref this as he's seen it.
Yeah, he's done well. I like Michael Oliver, he's done well, and today he's no different. He's been brilliant. I think that was a little bit soft, but Cancelo's done well to buy that one there.
By the way, unless they get another, this would be the first time under Pep that Man City have failed to score more than one goal in 4 consecutive Premier League games. They've been fairly free scoring in Europe, but it's been low scoring, either draws or wins, hasn't it?
I just think he'll be happy to get a clean sheet, which they shouldn't have now from that, especially from that Ryan Brewster chance. But yeah, to get a clean sheet, that'll be even more positive for him.
Yeah, you're right, because they've conceded the most goals at this point of a Premier League season since 2006-7, 8 in 5, and yeah, that completely adds to your point. I concur. 76 gone, still Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1. Long ball over the top from Sander Berger, overhit as we look back on the big screen again at Ryan Brewster, and what a chance that was to make it 1-1, not taken. Sheffield United building from the back. Chris Basham, who has actually gone back to centre half for a bit after that lengthy marauding period further up the field. Options are limited, so goes back to his captain, looking at the Irish contingent in John Egan. Egan to Ramsdale, and now to Enda Stevens, the other Irish centre half for Sheffield United, who are 1 down, but they're happy at the moment just to stroke the ball around and earn the right to attack again, aren't they? And that's good to see. Here is that attack. Ball over the top is a good one. Looking on the far side for Basham, who, guess what, had continued to run from defence to attack again. Man City read it well. Cancelo in field to Bernardo Silva, now to Kyle Walker, another clever little through ball, looking for the run of Fernan Torres. Torres just couldn't quite get to that one. Loose ball ricochets. Man City keep hold of it. About 30-35 yards out in a central position. 77 gone. Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1. Thanks to a strike early-ish in the first half from Kyle Walker against his old team. Ball out for another Manchester City throw, which Bernardo Silva takes. A little 1-1 with Riyad Mahrez, and City just happy to be a little bit more languid and composed in their own build-up here. As you say, Jamal, they're probably just happy to win this any which way, which isn't always the Pep way, but sometimes you just need that win, don't you?
Yeah, Russ, I don't know what your thoughts and feelings are a little about this, but years gone by, Man City, they go 1-0 up, and then it's almost like, what will the score be? It could be 3s, 4s, 5s and 6s, but it's almost like this season now they don't know how to finish games off, and I'm getting that feeling again in this game. And obviously there a couple of minutes ago, Ryan Bruce had that chance, but it just feels like they're just inviting teams back on, and they just don't know how to get that second goal.
78 gone. Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1. Another free kick conceded by Sheffield United, and we're about to see Phil Foden come onto the field. Such an exciting young talent. 3 goals and 2 assists this season across all competitions already for the youngster who wears 47. Did very well to turn the tide of their last Premier League game and get a draw with a goal off the bench against West Ham. Excellent in Europe in that win in Marseille in the week as well. And again, another few minutes to try and see this one through as well. He really is a top prospect. He'll be on in just a second as Pep Guardiola gives him a tap on the back.
He's a goal threat as well, isn't he, Ross?
Massively.
Yeah, he's not only his football abilities, he's loves to get on the ball, loves to play, but he's that goal threat. He's those attacking midfielders that can nick a goal, and I don't think we've seen them since obviously Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes. There's not many of them about now, and he's definitely of that ilk.
Yeah, and hopefully for club and country in the future, things can really shine. As I mentioned, having been dropped for disciplinary reasons for a couple of England games, he is fully expected to be named in the next squad for the next international break for more Nations League and so on, which takes place in a couple of weeks' time. Man City still looking for that second. The whole game has actually slowed down for a bit, hasn't it, for the first time in ages? It's been so frenetic we've barely been able to finish our sentences, but now it's just eased back a bit.
Yeah, I think Manchester City are happy to just play the game now at their pace and stroke it about and invite Sheffield United back onto the ball and try and hit them on the counter again. But Man City, I think, will be a lot happier that they can been able to put their foot on the ball and start stroking it about again.
It's going to be Ferran Torres, the young striker, to come off. So forward, off, midfielder on. Another example, perhaps, of Pep Guardiola just tightening things up and trying to see through the win. That's going to be what's happening in a second. The other impending sub is for Sheffield, their third and last. David McGoldrick will come on for Max Lowe, attacker for wing-back. Man City, though, looking to put the game to bed here. Another beautiful counter-attack. De Bruyne out as far as Mahrez. In the end, he couldn't pull the trigger, couldn't get the shot in. Lowe's last contribution, probably before going off, was to shepherd it very well indeed. And boy, is De Bruyne frustrated after his good work in the build-up there.
Yeah, I think that's Riyad Mahrez. I think he cries out for those sort of situations there, and I would have my money on him getting an end product, whether it be a cross or a shot. But brilliant again from De Bruyne. I think the balls from Laporte out to De Bruyne into that middle part of the pitch was fantastic, and then De Bruyne again, as we've seen so many times over the years, just threading balls through. Ferran Torres there today, I thought, was outstanding.
He's done well, hasn't he? So we shouldn't forget, he's only 20. He is third choice. He's done okay, hasn't he? There's clearly one or two raw elements to his game, but we totally get that.
Yeah, he's been over here, a few months, and I think with Pep, I think he's only going to get better.
Yeah, concur with that. And David McGoldrick, as you mentioned, on for Max Lowe. McGoldrick immediately, as he loves to do, comes herring forward. He is an endless tryer, Republic of Ireland international. Again, doesn't score that many goals, but again, he's such an excellent foil and can create something out of nothing with his sheer work rate and endeavour and professionalism, if nothing else. Closed Henderson down, but Man City play themselves out of a slight degree of danger, up to halfway, where Raheem Sterling just miscontrols slightly. Manchester City give it away. Sheffield United still a goal down as we tick toward 82 minutes here on Premier League Live. By the way, Sheffield United with a trip to Chelsea next Saturday, then a home game against West Ham, and a huge away trip to West Brom after that. It's an important November, isn't it, for this home team, your old side. We'll come back to that in a second. Long ball over the top is a good one. It's controlled well by George Baldock, who cuts inside Conseil. Left-footed ball. Oh, that was disappointing. He needed to come slightly further in field. Baldock with the death or glory pass that was cut out by Kyle Walker. Ball is lost, and here come Man City. Basham dispossessed by Phil Foden, whose first touch is brilliant. His second was almost as good as he flicked it inside. Nearly found Raheem Sterling, and Stevens made the interception. Ball stays in play as Manchester City look for their second. Foden with a near immediate impact. De Bruyne to Bernardo Silva to the right as once again Manchester City switch the passage. The impetus of their attack from left to right. Walker tries to take it round one player in Lundstrom but can't. Gundogan's about to come on. How would you assess those last couple of minutes there?
Yeah, for me, it's just slack again from Sheffield United. Just the turnovers in the middle of the park. Can't remember who gave it away there, but terrible. Phil Foden's nicked it and travelled so well. Unfortunate there not to pick out a man, but brilliant, nice and positive. Exactly what Pep will be looking for.
Okay, Gundogan is going to be coming on in a second for Manchester City. Got a couple of goals so far this season. He's another quality man to bring on. Talking of quality, beautiful touch from Mahrez, who's I think about to come off to Bernardo Silva. Curling effort, it's on target. Foden was waiting for the rebound, and again Ramsdale to the rescue with another smart save. Another good chance.
Brilliant there from Bernardo and Mahrez linking up down that right hand side. Superb football. Where sometimes I watch these players and where you think it's too tight and they need to come out and recycle the ball, they just get out of the tightest situations. Again here, look at him, look, superb football players, are absolute joy to watch.
84 nearly gone. Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1. As we look at the replay there of that excellent move, and it was a really good run, as Jamal says, from Bernardo Silva. Ramsdale did extremely well. Any form of spillage there, and Foden was prowling with massive intent, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He's got that natural instinct there to follow in on the keeper. You see Riyad Mahrez going off there, which is a little bit surprising. I think Bernardo will just go out to the right now. Yeah, as you can see, he's taking up that right hand side, and Gundogan will just fill in the middle.
I suppose with more Champions League to come coming midweek. It's an example, isn't it? I know the game is not fully won and it's a bit of a gamble at 1-0, but maybe giving Mahrez a few minutes off, perhaps there's midweek partially in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Mahrez has played a lot of minutes this season, so he's got
ball given away, and Ramsdale reacts mightily well there. My goodness, that came out of almost nowhere. Sterling bearing down, and Alan Ramsdale just came hurtling out and headed it clear right on the edge of his box. More good keeping, and City again close to a second.
Yeah, direct ball, something we don't often pair up with Man City, but almost straight ball there from Henderson, and Ramsdale's done really well there.
It's a huge clearance from Henderson. It evades Egan. Sterling clocks onto the idea, and he's racing down to the edge of the penalty area. And I think if Ramsdale does anything else there, he either ships a goal or concedes a penalty. He either sees it go past him or brings his man down. So to head it acrobatically just on the edge of his box was excellent.
From a nice and positive Sunderberger there again, marauding down the right hand side. He's done really well in the second half for me.
Yeah, been very impressed with him, no question. Here's David McGoldrick, the Irishman, on shot from distance from Sheffield United. Lundstrom, who decided to pull the trigger from that sunny square to the right hand far corner of this stadium. In the end, it was high, wide and handsome and behind, and we stay 1-0 Manchester City. So yeah, it's Olympiacos in the Champions League at home this coming midweek, then Liverpool at home on Sunday the 8th. Crikey, after the international break, trips to Spurs, Olympiacos again, and a local home derby against Burnley, give or take. My goodness, that Liverpool game in a couple of weeks, that's massive, isn't it?
Huge, absolutely huge.
Next week, sorry, I should say. Yeah,
definitely.
Wow.
Dave McGoldrick there, just obviously see him coming on there, and it looks like he's playing in that number 10 role. Like you said, I think you alluded to it early, he doesn't get the most goals, but his endeavour and he links the play so well through midfield and into the strikers.
Good tough tackle there from George Baldock, and Sheffield United a bit unlucky that the ricochet falls back to Manchester City on halfway. This time Baldock fouls his man in Cancelo, and it's another free kick to Manchester City. They've had 15 shots to Sheffield United's 4 in the game, and 8 on target to Sheffield United's 1, which is dominant, but as we both know, it's certainly not told the whole story, has it?
No, it hasn't. Like Manchester City, I don't know what's going on with them at the minute, but they're not as free scoring as they used to be. There again, Raheem Sterling 1v1 in the box there. I'd like him to get hold of the ball and get at his man and either get a shot or a cross, but it was almost neither one of them.
Yeah, in the end his fairly kind of uncertain delivery was deflected back into the arms of Aaron Ramsdale. Ender Stevens again doing pretty well as the last man. Shane Moran has tweeted in saying, listening to you boys as always the Aussie way. Greetings to you from Australia, my friend. Man City, I feel, will go on to win this, but I love the way Sheffield United always give it a go. Keep up the good work, lads. And Shane, yeah, you're absolutely right, and great to hear from you. Down in Australia, Neymar Bucklins, it's early in the morning in Los Angeles, California. I'm a huge City fan, and I grew up following QPR. I always look forward to a win for either side. Well, Neymar, it looks as if all the way across on the west coast of the States you're going to get your result. And Benjamin Bloom, loving the commentary from a freezing Connecticut, he says, the blue moon is rising. Well, you could well be right. 88 nearly gone. Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1. All is controlled by Ruben Diaz wearing 3, who's fouled by Ryan Brewster. And again, Manchester City will get the free kick. They'll spend a fair bit of time getting this one downfield, and whether Diaz is injured or is just killing a few seconds, I'm not sure, but this is exactly what City want, isn't it? Time to run down this clock.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm absolutely shocked that Ryan Brewster stayed on, to be honest with you as well. Apart from that one opportunity he's had, he's not really offered a lot more for his side, and I think Billy Sharp or Oliver Burke would be really disappointed not to come on.
DJ Kiefer sent a beautiful picture of fishing on South Beach in Florida, saying I was at Bramall Lane last year to watch the Arsenal game. Great club, and City as well. Come on, please equalise Sheffield United. And yeah, DJ Keith, very nice, sitting there with the boats, the blue sky, bit of early morning fishing. We love it. Talk Sport Live, thanks for all of your input over the course course of this game. We've just got 1 minute to go. Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1. Powerful header clear from City. Raheem Sterling's in an offside position, but he's not interfering with play, so play goes on. One more opportunity for Ramsdale. Big boot downfield. We saw, of course, at the other end, Ederson's long delivery nearly lead to a second goal. Sheffield try the same. Sander Berger, who's gone progressively further out to the right to be almost an out-and-out winger. One-on-one against João Cancelo. The Portuguese makes the block. And Sheffield United have the throw. Remember, only 1 win in almost 10 now in the Premier League, just 1 point during that period. Second bottom. Looking like one of their worst ever starts to a league campaign. And they're worst in the top tier for the first part of 46 years. Can they turn it around? As Chris Wilder looks for that 100th win in all competitions in charge of the Blades. Here's McGoldrick on the far side, but he's been forced to play it all the way back, and with 5 seconds plus time added on to go, you've got to see them pump it forward, surely.
Yeah, you'd expect him to go a little bit more direct, and it's just when they do, I'm not sure that they haven't shown any quality doing it for the whole game really, and just there that just rubber stamps it like another turnover.
Don't die wondering, boys. Come on, let's have a little sting in the tail, or at least a decent attempt at one. The referee's assistant, the fourth official, by the way, has just brought up his board, and there will be 3 additional minutes, I should say, and we're now midway through the first of those, so about 2.5 minutes to go to see if Manchester City can hold on for an important Premier League win that would buck the trend of their slight recent dip and take them back into the top 7 in the standings, level on points with Spurs in 6th, but behind them on goal difference. We shall wait and see. City don't make the most of that opportunity, to be honest. David McGoldrick wins it back on this near stand side briefly for Sheffield United, but João Cancelo reacts well and wins it back. Gundogan out to Bernardo Silva, now to Kyle Walker. Gundogan's continued his run. Walker finds him. There's a one-on-one situation against Stevens. Again, Man City happy to just play the ball backward. They are still winning. Just under 2 minutes of time added on to go. Walker back to Bernardo Silva. Gundogan's calling for a diagonal pass. Instead they go infield to Raheem Sterling. Space for him to maybe shoot. He's happy to go to De Bruyne instead as City continue to run down the clock. This time Cancelo plays it off Ollie McBurney. Phil Foden, the sub, picks up the loose ball by the corner flag. He'll try and kill a few more seconds under pressure from 2 Sheffield United players. Great play from Foden, who under pressure finds Sterling, who slips. No foul. De Bruyne tries to get the shot in. Sliding tackle from McGoldrick. Loose ball nearly to Foden, who pokes it through to Gundogan, who can't quite control it. And in the end, Aaron Ramsdale bangs it back downfield. About 75 seconds to go. Sheffield United still a goal down to Manchester City. And again, Ryan Brewster under pressure from a combination of Walker and Diaz can't deliver the goods. But Sheffield United win it back on the far side. McBurney was up there. And on the far side, Lundstrom it was who managed to win it and find Stevens. 2 Sheffield United players get slightly in each other's way, but the skipper Egan this time picks it up. Sheffield about midway inside the Man City half on the far side. This time Basham's in space, but he miscontrols. There could be a counter-attack from City here. Foden's been put through free. Has he got the pace to burst clear? Basham did well, I think. Could have been a penalty if Foden had gone down, but to his credit, the youngster stayed on his feet. Basham having given the ball away. Bit do or die, but he manages to at least semi-atone for his error. But Man City don't really mind. No goal, but again, they've got the throw, Jamal, midway inside the opposition half.
Yeah, great experience there from Foden and De Bruyne, just to see the game out, get it in the corner and win a throw, and I think that'll be the end of it then. Again there, just with a minute or so left, that's a free kick.
That's so frustrating. Baldock shoves Foden in the back, and that might well be the game, because we've only got a handful of a few seconds to go.
I think Sheffield United just showing a complete lack of quality today, really, for me.
And that is the full-time whistle. Sheffield United have now failed to win any of their last 7 league games. That's the first time it's happened since 1991. They stay in serious trouble, rooted near the foot of the table. But Manchester City get an all-important Premier League win, and their European form finally has translated the former champions back to the domestic stage. And the man who got the goal against his old team was Kyle Walker, the England fullback in the first half. Lovely low finish after brilliant work from Raheem Sterling, and all on his 100th Manchester City Premier League appearance as well. Walker, the winner for Pep Guardiola's men. Again, it wasn't particularly pretty. It certainly wasn't high scoring, but City find a way and find themselves up to 7th in the table. Full time on Premier League Live. Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1. a pointer to Walker, who's in space against his old club, and Kyle Walker on his 100th Manchester City Premier League appearance guns the ball into the net. Walker scores against his old team, and finally, having huffed and puffed, City take the lead.
Absolutely fantastic from Raheem Sterling. He's picked that ball and he's travelled 40-50 yards with the ball. Great feet on the halfway line there, and superb football. Kyle Walker absolutely superb finish in the bottom corner. Ramsdale no chance.
It's Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1. Ball's come loose, and here's Rhian Brewster through 1-on-1. Oh, he's gone for the lob instead of taking it round the keeper, and the young Sheffield United striker stays on 0 goals for the club. What a chance. He tried to guide it over Emerson on the edge of the box. He certainly had the room and the momentum to maybe take it round the City keeper. Regardless, I'm afraid, Brewster fluffs his lines. What a chance. Fluffs his lines indeed, and as Eddie Kenny says at TalkSport Live, from a crisp morning in Owensboro, Kentucky, the Blades waste their chances and they fail to force a result, and that's very worrying. Eddie, I think you're right, I'll put that to Jamal, that ultimately this kind of thing could see them go down.
Yeah, absolutely. Just there, you bring in a striker, and against a team like City where you're under pressure for the majority of the game, you just want those opportunities to at least go round him. Or I don't think it's a time to try and be cute and dink it. I think you do them sort of things when you're 2 or 3-0 up and a little bit more comfortable in the league. But obviously for Sheffield United, it's very disappointing to get the loss.
And just one final tweet from the Man City side of things. NYC Gooner says, great commentary from you, Russ, and from Reggae Boy Jamal, of course, as a former Jamaican international. He says, I'm still puzzled though. 1.1 billion spent by City under Pep, 450 million on their defence, yet the standard and the expectation he doesn't think is where it should be.
No, I absolutely agree, and I think I alluded to it earlier while the game was going on, that they'll always give you that chance and 2 or 3 chances in the game really, and those frailties, unfortunately, like they were plain to see there. Just lucky for them that Sheffield United didn't have enough quality or enough guile to go and punish them.
Quick taster for you. Next up is Burnley Chelsea. Our commentator John Anderson with the team news.
Burnley are already without Ben Mee and Jack Cork, who are injured, plus Phil Bardsley, who's isolating after contracting COVID, and Icelandic winger Johan Berg Gudmundsson's been added to that list with a calf injury, so Dale Stevens comes in for the only change from that narrow defeat against Tottenham. Chelsea make 5 alterations from the Champions League win at Krasnodar. Hakim Ziyech, who scored in that game, keeps his place, while Reece James, Thiago Silva, Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham and Christian Pulisic all return.
It's Ando and Gabby Agbonlahor, your commentary team. Next up, looking forward to that, and of course followed by Liverpool West Ham with James Fielden and David Connolly as well. Jamal, it's been great to be with you, my friend, and thank you for coming back on with us, and hopefully we'll have you on again soon.
Brilliant. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thanks for the help today, Ross, and hopefully look forward to seeing you again very soon, like you said.
Jamal Campbell-Rice alongside me, Russell Hargreaves, where it's finished at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1 on Premier League Live.
As darkness sweeps around the globe at 8 p.m. on the 18th of November, 25,000 people worldwide will pull their running shoes on to hit the road for a virtual 5 or 10k at Run in the Dark. I'm Mark Pollock, and by joining us to Run in the Dark this November, you'll be supporting the Mark Pollock Trust and our charity partner Collaborative Cures, whose mission it is to cure paralysis in our lifetime. Register now at runinthedark.org and get your medal, your flashing armband, and your Run in the Dark virtual timing app. Thank you.
Let's talk about you looking after your business. Ford, looking after your vehicle. Let's talk hassle-free Ford leasing. Just a fixed monthly payment, no motor tax to deal with, and no maintenance or servicing to pay on selected plans. Get the Ford Transit Custom from €290 per month. Hassle-free Ford lease. Now we're talking. Search Ford Lease or text Ford to 50015 to speak to us about leasing your next vehicle.
Text cost to standard rate. Price quoted for Transit Custom Base with no maintenance over 4 years with 3 monthly rentals in advance. 20,000 kilometres per annum. Business users only. Price excludes VAT. Ford Lease is provided by Merriam Fleet Management, trading as Ford Lease.
Get ready and hold on tight, because the Premier League is here! Which teams will stay on track? And who'll go off the rail? Get the Irish
Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews and opinions from the biggest names in football. Plus expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
This is not the time for business as usual. It's time for effort and imagination. It's time to use technology to start your online plans. It's time to work from home to stay in touch. It's time to look to each other. Erscá Céile. Ireland is working online with help from Black Knight and .ie, because now we need better than business as usual. Call Black Knight on 059 918 3027 or visit blackknight.ie.
123inc.ie have your office needs covered. So whether you're an accountant, butcher, carpenter, dentist, electrician, florist, graphic designer, hairdresser, journalist, lecturer, musician, optician, retailer, teacher, solicitor, web designer, or yoga instructor, we've got what you need. And we're cheaper than your current supplier. 123inc.ie. For home, for office, for less.
Introducing Guardson Sport. Protect your sporting equipment from COVID-19 for up to 14 days with Guardson Sport Disinfectant Treatment. Ideal in team sports settings with the sharing of balls, rackets, gloves, helmets and all other sporting equipment. Guardson Sport kills COVID-19 on impact, keeping surfaces free from COVID-19 and other viruses and bacteria for up to 14 days by creating a protective polymer layer on application. For more information on Guardson Sport and other quality assured, certified and approved PPE, visit yourcovidprotection.com.
Premier League Live with Talk Sport. All the big goals and big moments from the world's biggest football league.
Aubameyang! 3-0, what a goal!
Son onside, this time for 4! Southampton crumbling here at St Mary's.
Bringing you the best of the Premier League all year round.
Jamie Vardy has a hat-trick against Manchester City at the Etihad.
Good delivery under the goal! The keeper came! Oh, he flapped! Meslier makes the mistake.
There's a header and there's a goal from Raul Jimenez. Wolverhampton Wanderers back in the game.
Premier League Live with Talk Sport.
You're listening to Talk Sport's coverage of Burnley against Chelsea from Turf Moor. I'm your host, John Anderson. Alongside me is the former Aston Villa and England striker, Gabby Agbonlahor. This is Premier League Live. Welcome along wherever you're listening to us. It's the third of the weekend's Premier League fixtures, and it sees Burnley in the bottom three against Chelsea, who are uncharacteristically mid-table at this stage. A deluge of draws is threatening to derail Chelsea's season in this most open of campaigns so far. The Blues have been held in 5 of their last 8 games and half of their 6 Premier League matches. On the plus side, they're yet to lose a league game away from home, and they've now gone 3 matches without conceding a goal. They could move into the top 4 with a big win today, and don't rule it out, Burnley have just 1 point from their 5 fixtures so far and have lost both games at Turf Moor in the league without scoring. They also have a quite dreadful record against today's visitors. Chelsea have never lost a Premier League game on this ground, winning the last 3, scoring 10 goals into the bargain. Plus, in the last 24 home games against teams from the top flight, so-called Big Six, the Clarets have won just once. Let me bring you the team news. Well, Burnley are already without Ben Mee and Jack Cork, who are both long-term injuries. Phil Bardsley is absent, isolating from COVID, and unfortunately for Sean Dyche, Johan Berg Gudmundsson has joined the unavailable list. He has a calf injury, so Dale Stevens, a summer signing from Brighton, comes in for the only change from the team, who were narrowly beaten by Spurs on Monday. Chelsea make 5 alterations from the Champions League win in southern Russia against Krasnodar. Hakim Ziyech keeps his place, while Reece James, Thiago Silva, Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham and Christian Pulisic all return to the lineup. That brings you up to date with the team news. Delighted once again to have Gabby Agbonlahor alongside me. Well, Burnley, we'll start with them. They simply have to get up and running, don't they? Because at the moment they are submerged in the bottom 3, and they are in big trouble.
Yeah, I think you look at Burnley, don't you? They're really desperate for that first win, and I just feel that this is the sort of game today. I've played Burnley away, wet, miserable days where you don't really want to play the likes of Burnley, so this could be the game where they stick it on Chelsea and make it uncomfortable for them and get their first win, but sooner or later they're going to have to pick up a win because themselves, Burnley, Sheffield United and Fulham they don't want to be caught at the bottom, and a gap starts to arrive.
Yeah, they've only managed 3 goals as well in their opening games so far. From Chelsea's point of view, it's too many draws, isn't it, really? I mean, you're looking at a season here where it's very hard to pick anyone as potential champions because most of the big clubs are underperforming and other clubs are overperforming. Chelsea are stuck in the middle. West Brom and Southampton have taken points off them this season. They need to be winning games like this, don't they?
Yes, 100%. I think Frank Lampard will know that. He'll see this game today as a definitely must win. And you'll look at the table, because everyone's dropping points at the moment, a win today for Chelsea by 3 to 4 goals will send them in the top 4. Yep. They'll send them 4th, so he knows there's probably nothing to panic about at the moment. But I feel like Lampard's still trying to figure out his best team. I think because of the Champions League, he's made a few more changes today from the team that played the last Premier League game. So I think at this time with Chelsea, it's just about trying to win games now and get themselves into that top 4.
It's understandable, though, the changes. I mean, a long trip to Russia, great result against Krasnodar, but at the moment it's weekend midweek with the way that the Champions League has had to be changed this season. So you can't expect players to be playing potentially 8 games a month.
No way. I mean, that game, like you said, it was a long journey. There'll be a lot of players fatigued, a lot of players with little niggles, so he has to change his squad. And who's got the best squad in the Premier League? For me, Chelsea. So he's got such talent on his bench that he can bring in. You look at today, Ziyech is starting, Jorginho's on the bench, Werner's been put on the bench, and they still look like a very strong side. So Frank Lampard's lucky to have that where other teams haven't.
Well, Burnley are a case in point, aren't they? Their squad is not strong. They've got 2 kids on the bench today who've made just one appearance between them, and not having Goodmanson won't help them. He's a creative force out wide.
Yeah, he's a very good player, isn't he, Goodmanson? But I just look at Burnley and I actually feel sorry for Sean Dyche. It's like season after season, he doesn't get much money to spend. They can't really improve their squad. They lose players every summer and can't bring in quality players to replace them. You look at defence today, if there's an injury to Tarkowski at the back and Kevin Long, who comes in? You can't really see a player on the bench that you'd recognise that will play centre half. So I think it's just a matter of time before Sean Dyche probably has a bit too much with the way things are at Burnley, and it's going to cost him because he's a good manager.
Yeah, he's a good manager, and he's celebrated 8 years in charge of Burnley yesterday, but he's got a big job this season with the Clarets stuck in the bottom 3. They are still just above Sheffield United, who were beaten by Manchester City earlier. We'll be looking back at last weekend and ahead to all the other games in just a moment on Premier League Live.
This October, watch the big games every weekend with Sky Sports and Sports Extra half price. This week it's Man United Arsenal, live only on Sky Sports. In one of the Premier League's most historic fixtures. Get Sky Sports, BT Sport and Premier Sports half price for 6 months. Search Sky Sports Sale. New sports customers only. Standard pricing applies after 6 months or if cancelling one element of the bundle. Minimum term and further terms apply.
Let's talk about you looking after your business. Ford, looking after your vehicle. Let's talk hassle-free Ford leasing. Just a fixed monthly payment, no motor tax to deal with, and no maintenance or servicing to pay on selected plans. Get the new Ford Puma from €385 per month. Hassle-free Ford lease. Now we're talking. Search Ford lease or text Ford to 50015 to speak to us about leasing your next vehicle.
Text cost to standard rate. Price quoted for a Puma Titanium with no maintenance over 4 years with 3 monthly rentals in advance. 20,000 kilometres per annum. Business users only. Price excludes VAT. Ford lease is provided by Merriam Fleet Management, trading as Ford Lease.
Get ready and hold on tight because the Premier League is here!
which teams will stay on track, and who'll go off the rails. Get the Irish Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews and opinions from the biggest names in football, plus expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed, because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
This is not the time for business as usual. It's time for effort and imagination. It's time to use technology to start your online plans. It's time to work from home to stay in touch. It's time to look to each other. Ireland is working